Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs for caring for your home. Out. Indecision, overthinking, second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Hanover Township, New Jersey, when a popular cheerleader disappears from the local mall, the whole area is on edge until another young woman is killed. Then it turns into full-blown panic. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We have got quite the show for you today.
Correct.
This is one of those ones where I've had and been like, oh boy, when do I want to get into this? Because it's just there's so much to it. I knew it was one of those where I'm not going to sleep for a few days because I have to do a lot of research, and it's pretty creepy at the same time. So
it's tough to do.
It's one of those. So it's going to be wild. Those are usually some of our best episodes.
Sure.
Yeah, the less amount of sleep I have means that we put a lot into this, so that's good. But I just want to thank everybody quickly this week for everything you've done for us, of course, all of last year and through this year. Yeah. And if you haven't yet, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts, the purple icon. It helps a lot. We have no idea why. So please, though, it does help drive you up the charts. Do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. That is very important because you can get your tickets to the virtual live show.
Coming
up very soon, January the 29th. 29th, 2021, right here. And it'll be available for 72 hours after that. It'll be a real small town murder episode, just like we would do in a theater show like we usually do.
Right.
We'll be sitting there. We'll have the good visuals. We'll have mics. We'll have the whole deal. It's going to be
a story. Let's do it.
That's right. Jimmy's going to be drinking whiskey, and I will be good and baked. So it's going to be
up.
Oh, baby. It's going to be
wait.
It's going to be fun. So we can't wait to do that. January 29th. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't, if you want more of our show. This is a very good week to start.
Sure in the fuck is.
This week, because even if you don't like sports, do you know who Luca Brasi is?
Yeah.
You know The Godfather? Yeah. Well, there's a lot more history to that. Yep. So check on Crime and Sports this week. Also check out P.S. I Hate This Movie, because I had to watch Twilight last week. So at least make it worth my while. So please do that. And Patreon is cooking right now.
Thankfully.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, it is going good. We're pumping out the episodes. This week we have, by the way, patreon.com/crime and sports. Yep. And if you sign up for that, you get access to the bonus episodes from both podcasts, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder. And you're going to get a handful of that this week. Small Town Murders bonus episode this week will be the worst town reviews I can find of different towns. We have so much fun with the town reviews, and people have so much to say about them that I'm going to try to just cultivate and aggregate as much bad blood that people have.
Screw your local pride. Hate your place. It's
whatever.
Better that way.
People from places that hate them. It's hilarious. So what their weird beefs are, check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's patreon.com/crime and sports. Plus, you'll get a shout out because you're a producer at that point.
Right, you are.
And Jimmy will mispronounce your name probably terribly at the end of the show.
I'm good for it.
Or you can just go over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com, if you just want to be a producer and get your name mispronounced. That said, disclaimer quickly.
Yes.
This is a comedy podcast.
It is.
We're comedians.
We are.
This is a comedy show.
It is.
We're going to tell you a story about horrible murder.
Damn right.
That's right. And there's going to be comedy in there. I understand if you're like, what the hell's up with that? Yeah, sounds a little bit strange, but trust us, the way we do it is pretty cool.
Seems to work.
It works. There's a lot going on around a murder because it's a crazy thing to have an idea to murder somebody. So there's a lot of nutty stuff going on that we can talk about. We try to go out of our way to make sure not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There it is.
That's how it works.
It's us.
Other than that, we have a good time. We're going to tell you a crazy-ass story where bad things happen to sometimes good people and sometimes bad people. You never know. Either way, though, if that sounds good to you, awesome.
Yeah.
If not, hey, maybe we should part ways or maybe give it a chance. What are you doing here?
Stick around and give it a run.
Either way, I think it's time for me and you right now and everyone out there to sit back and shout,
Shut up and give me murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy.
I cannot wait.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Yeah, we should.
Let's do this. We were in North Carolina last week for one of the most bonkers.
What the shit?
That was one of those stories where you're like, that's going on.
Yeah.
That's why we do small town murder, because you hear all about things happening in cities, but like these little tucked away things that you never knew. You're like, that's what's happening on the off ramps of the highway. Like when I drive by and it says that place and I see two houses and I'm like, people live there?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. It's crazy.
Last week we did mention, because we had two shows from North Carolina last week with Crime and Sports and Small Town.
Yeah.
So I mentioned Lisa and
prosecutor.
she said that they did change a law about domestic violence because
of Grundy?
Something similar.
Interesting.
I don't know if it was because of him, but it's definitely been changed.
Situation.
Probably because of multiple
to
him.
hold someone.
Yeah,
okay, that's interesting.
You don't have to live together for it to be domestic.
That's helpful. Yeah, if you're in the same place and someone's beating someone up, we can call it what it is. So we're going here to Hanover Township, New Jersey.
Okay,
going to Jersey, the Florida of the North, everybody. And I know in our bonus episode we were in New Jersey, but that was a brief one, and this is an episode that we really needed to get into. That was almost like the prequel to this, basically, because it was a similar type of deal, but this is way more.
Oh yeah, that was the
advanced.
Saturday story, right?
Yes, that was the one there. This is in North Central Jersey, and I will say the murders happened kind of around this area, and this is kind of the central area. It encompasses 3 towns, so we're just going to call it this area, and if it's not right here and exactly right there, who cares? This is what we're going to do.
Okay.
So Hanover Township, New Jersey, north central New Jersey.
Yeah.
This is at. It's only 40 minutes to New York City, so very, very commutable. This is a place where
north central. So because Jersey is like that weird shape,
yeah.
So it's like above the angle.
Yeah. Oh, okay. yeah. It's right up.
Oh, way up there.
It's a county below New York, basically. Okay. It's right there. It's not far at all. Very commutable to New York City. Mm-hmm. Population exploded here in the 60s when people were moving out of cities.
Gotcha.
It's about an hour and a half to Philadelphia, 20 minutes to Chatham Township, which was our last New Jersey episode, full episode, which was episode 162.
My Christ.
Back in March, which was, 20 years ago, it feels like. So, long time ago. Different planet.
I just saw the Ricky Gervais opening of the Golden Globes. That was literally a year ago. And I was like,
forget
are
it.
you serious? That was only a year?
We were on the road less than a year ago, so that tells you a lot right there.
It hasn't even been a year since we were in Utah.
That's what I mean. Since it was snowing in Denver.
Unbelievable.
Crazy stuff. This is in Morris County, area code 862. It's 10 square miles, so it's a good size. It's like I said, this encompasses a couple other small towns. And the motto here is, quote, great things happen in Hanover.
Oh, boy.
So there's that.
Well,
or Hanover's in New Jersey. That's all you need to, and then you understand from there. So quickly over the history, because we got a lot of story. We got to buzz through the history. We'll just hit a couple of high points here.
Okay.
There was a big facility here. We'll go right to the 20th century. Lucent Technologies had a big facility in Whippany, which is around here. The first demonstration of long-distance television transmission in the United States took place in 1927 with a transmission that went from Washington, D.C. to New York and from Whippany to New York also.
Okay.
So they were trying out different length television broadcasts. 1927, though. That's awesome. Cool. I love the history of TV and when they actually
fascinating.
It's really cool. They had the technology at first, and they were they didn't know what to do with it, and it sat there for a minute.
It's still awfully strange that we can do that.
Then they argued about what kind of TV they were going to do, how they, the plates or it's a long story.
Whichever the wavelength works.
Yeah. Until after World War II, this was kind of an industrial town. Not a lot of people here. Known for ironworks, paper mills, and things like that. But after World War II, it became, it's commutable to New York City. Sure. So once you had some highways built in the 50s and things like that, it was much easier to get there. In January of 2009, January 5th, 2009, 5 unidentified red lights were spotted in the sky over Hanover Township in Morris County. It became known nationally as the Morristown UFO hoax, because 2 residents disclosed how they used road flares attached to balloons to create these objects and send a fervor through the city. Fucking morons.
It's pretty awesome that they got those to float at the same height.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause it's pretty tough to do.
I would assume
to get them to go in a straight line like that.
Pounds of helium you need to put in each. But this is the home of the 2017 Junior Pee Wee Division Youth Football National Champions.
Oh,
so
my.
There's that. So they're very much into child's football here.
Yeah.
Give that other child brain damage. Do it. Do knock the math out of his head. I don't want him to know his multiplication tables when he's done with that. I know he just learned them. I want him to forget them by the end of this game. Let's knock the tables out of those kids. That's what they tell the kids. Jesus. So, not that, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So, it's located just north of Morristown, separated by a thin strip of Morris Township and adjacent to the Morristown Municipal Airport. Just to give kind of geography from people who are around there. The township also has Whippany and Cedar Knolls involved in it. There's all these places. Here's some reviews of the town. Most of them are positive. It was hard to find very negative reviews of the town. And there's even the sort of negative ones have positive in them. So people seem to like it here. Here's a 3-star. Hanover Township has a wonderful schooling system. The taxes are high, but they are used to our benefit. The neighborhoods are clean and the streets are kept paved. Well, that's helpful. It's not.
This is the most well-spoken person in a review that we've ever had.
That's what I mean. Usually it's I don't like that there ain't no Popeyes coming into town because I want one of them chicken sandwiches. And also, the dollar store is always crowded.
Can't even go to the dollar store.
That's usually the normal complaint of these things.
This one is the schooling system.
Schooling system.
That's brilliant.
Maybe they're British or something. Yeah. The disadvantage is that there are more quick checks in town, like check check cashing places than restaurants, grocery stores, or department stores.
Okay, that's a bad sign.
That's fine. That's never a good sign.
No.
The more check cashing places you see around, that's
usually because people in this area don't have a bank account.
Yeah,
that's scary.
I think they pop up probably. Yeah, they probably pop up at the same rate as crack houses. I think probably. I would assume.
That's probably right about the cusp when your town starts to die.
Yeah. How many check cashing? Boy, it's a lot. It's getting bad. Just get a bank account.
Man.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you on the lam or something?
Why don't you want to be tracked? What's the matter?
What the fuck are you doing? Okay. 3 stars here. This is just very simple. Quote, the police respond in a very slow manner, especially when it's an emergency. Now, that's a personal thing.
Yeah.
They had an emergency and the cops didn't come as quickly as they would have liked. I don't think the general thing is, if there's like a cat in a tree, they'll come running.
Yeah.
But if you're on fire, then they're going to take their sweet time about it. I highly doubt that's the policy.
Also, it's a very vague word there, emergency.
Especially when it's an emergency.
We don't know what your emergency was.
That's the other thing.
And what you consider to be one.
It could be anything. Here is 3 stars. This is very personal. Quote, my current living situation.
Yeah.
First of all, okay,
that's your problem.
My current living situation is overpopulated with tons of people everywhere you go. If I could, I would love to live in a more private location where I would be able to raise my children.
So would everybody the fuck else.
It sounds like she has a lot of people, or he has a lot of people living in their house. Like it's a very crowded house.
Why get
my
off?
Cousins are here.
Sounds like one of your friends put you on Airbnb.
Yeah,
and you don't even know.
It's like new people show up all the time.
Constantly, it's crowded.
They expect things. I don't know.
Tried to take a shit. There was somebody in there.
Somebody was there already saying, "Can they have better toilet paper?" They're going to give me a bad review. I was like, "Review of what?"
They said the towels are too hard.
They don't like them. What do you want from me? So here is a 3 star, and again, this is this person. The insult that comes first, you're like, okay, that's probably true, but then the next sentence, you're like, okay, this person has no idea what they're talking about anyway.
Okay.
3 stars. In Whippany, there is not a good nightlife option, so many travel close by to Morristown, where the nightlife is always outrageous! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Yeah, you go there.
Who says that?
It's fucking, it's Greenwich Village in the 50s.
Yeah.
It's like just popping.
Shirts off.
Pop in. What is going on here?
Outrageous.
It's outrageous, but not here. No punctuation in that sentence.
Not
which
one.
Could use several commas,
except for the exclamation.
Except for that, it was very difficult to read it. That's how few commas were in it and how many were needed. There is always something going on in Morristown, and for any holidays, most of the bars and restaurants have their employees dress up to spread the spirit.
Oh!
Exclamation point. So. What is this, like the Morristown Chamber of Commerce president posting this? You don't want to go here. Morristown is outrageous. Things are hopping in Morristown.
They dress up and spread cheer.
Exclamation point, man. That's what happens. So this place from 1950 to 1960 kind of tripled in population.
Really?
So yeah, it was post-war when they built the road systems better and you could get to New York City quickly.
Sure.
That was the place to be. So not a bad thing for that. And it stayed pretty steady and kind of has stayed pretty steady since then. Right now, there is 14,436 people here, which...
Yeah.
There's not many. Up 25% since 1990.
Okay.
So not too bad here. Last probably 10 years, there's been a pretty good influx of people. Male-female populations are pretty average. It's a kind of a little more money here, so the age is a little older.
Okay.
Median age is 44. It's usually about 37 and a half. Anytime you get money, it's going to be...
14,000 people, and it's commutable to New York?
Yeah, 40 minutes.
That's
unbelievable. Why it's expensive. If it wasn't expensive, there'd be a shitload more people living here. That's why all those suburbs, anything commutable to New York is...
It's ridiculous.
You'll see, I know, where my dad lives in New York is, and my little brother lives up there still, where I'm from, is like the last... If you go, half hour more up, then it's not
last
commutable.
Bastion of affordable?
No, you can commute pretty well from there. My brother does it every day to Manhattan, so it's not bad to go to there. So it's pretty expensive.
Okay.
But if you go a half hour north, the fucking prices go in half because then you can't commute anymore. So it cuts out a huge portion of people who might want to move there from this, work in the city and live up there. So that's how it is. All those burbs around New York City are real expensive for that reason.
Location. That's what they say.
That's what it is, babe. So here, married population much higher as well because older and more money is going to be more married. It's about 57%. Lower divorce rate. All of that, lower never married, less single with children, all that shit. It's just a lot of family households here.
Sure.
The race of this town, 75.8% white, so pretty white.
Yeah.
So 62% is the average. 1.3% black. That is well under the 12.3% average here. We have 13.6% Asian.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting. Yeah, that's odd. It's usually 5%. Yeah. So I don't know what's drawing. Yeah, not that there has to be a reason, but you know what I mean? Still, usually there's, it's something there.
Yeah.
So Hispanic, 8.7% as well. So about 60% of the people here are religious too, which is kind of odd for the Northeast.
Is it?
It's odd, but they're not real. This is a different type of religious here.
Catholic?
Well, no, they're 43% Catholic.
Yeah.
Catholics are, everyone, the Baptists of the North.
Right.
But Catholicism in the Northeast isn't like
a given.
It's not like Baptists in the South that are like, well, I'm going to go to church on Sunday and then I got church on Tuesday and I'll see you at church on Wednesday. And this is like, I went on Easter and, I was busy on Christmas, maybe next Easter.
See if I can pop in and get that shit rubbed on my face on that one Wednesday.
Yeah, you tell your kid you're just going to do his communion, and he's like, "What? We never go to fucking church. You're going to go to fucking CDC classes and get your goddamn communion. Goddamn it, get the fuck over there." And you make your kids do shit like that. That's Northeast Catholicism. Yeah. It's just it's tradition, all right? Makes your grandmother happy. Shut up. That's what it is.
You're making your grandma cry.
Yeah, your grandma. You want your grandmother to cry if you don't get that little tiny. She's already bought the communion medal. She already bought the medal.
Yeah,
you know them. You do.
Yeah,
yeah. Every guinea kid with their medal, and then they got the confirmation one after that. So they got two. It's their first swag.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's the first chain.
That's why they grow up like that, because right away it's like, here's some gold chains for you. You did real well. The kid's
put this
8.
Shit on.
Yeah, put that on. You're 8 years old, so you got a medallion now. You're only going to want to grow it. That's what's wrong with that's our culture.
That's hilarious.
So, we have that. Not much of else. 1.6% Jewish.
What?
Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. I don't know the word.
Jesus Christ.
Yay, it's been so long. People are so disappointed when there isn't 1%.
Somebody sent me the lyrics to that.
I know.
I
don't know them.
I don't know what that says.
No, I don't know any. I don't know.
I don't know how to read that.
I don't know how.
Is that more embarrassing?
I guess. I mean,
is it more embarrassing to know the words and not be able to say them, or is it to not know them?
Yeah, it's one thing to not be able to remember them, but then to
know what they are,
to see them, not be able to comprehend them.
There it is,
and then just go, I don't know the words. That's our level of dumb, Jimmy. That's a different ballpark.
I can't pronounce the words.
I don't know shit. I am really dumb. Hey,
I can't read the words.
I have a hard time reading. Hey. So the unemployment rate here is way lower than the national average. Just as you kind of got to have some dough to live here.
Yeah.
And the median household income here, $116,020 a year.
Wow.
Which is more than double the national average of median household income. So pretty wealthy here. Cost of living, 100 is regular average. Here, cost of living, 146. So high. Yeah. And the main thing that's high is housing, which is a 218 out of 100.
Holy shit.
For a median home cost of, ready for this, Jimmy, $505,000.
Holy shit.
A little pricey.
That is a hell of a mortgage.
A little on the pricey
My
side.
fuck.
6% of the houses are worth less than $200,000.
Okay.
So there is no low end.
You can find it.
Yeah, I know. There's no entry level here. No. A lot of people have guest cottages and shit. There's very wealthy enclaves here in this place. And if we've convinced you, damn it, you're ready to commute to New York City and move to Hanover Township, we have for you the Hanover Township, New Jersey Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $2,170, which is pricey for a 2-bedroom.
Yeah,
it's a little pricey. I mean, it's not Manhattan, but it's It's pricey. I'll say that much. It's not,
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I found a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,409 square foot house. It looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
It looks like shit. Like
2,400 square feet?
2,400 square feet. It is fucked up. It needs, let's just say, a lot, capital LOT of work.
Yeah.
It's going to need some love. It's been, I don't know what the hell somebody did to it, but it's messed up. $489,000 though.
$500,000.
So yeah,
Jesus.
be prepared to double that in whatever you have to do to it too, because it needs a lot of work. I found a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,640 square foot, like kind of nice family starter, not starter even, but just a nice family home, nice house, nice bushes out front, nice curb appeal, very well kept. $499,999. So $500,000 for 1,600 square feet.
Jesus Christ.
That's a little pricey. Then I found a 5-bedroom, 5-bath.
Yeah.
This is nice. 3,300 square feet. It's a nice house on the inside, but the outside's like this pale yellow.
Oh.
Not bright yellow like that house from a few weeks ago, but a pale, like pastel.
Like pus milk?
Yeah, I was going to say like an Easter egg yellow. It looks like an Easter egg. $730,000 for that, though. So, yeah, and you want to put a little work into that. Definitely a paint job.
That's so much. It's
expensive there, man. Yeah, like I said, you want to be commutable to New York City, but live in a quiet, safe, leafy place that you feel like you're in the country.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to have to pay for. You got to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's what it works.
Otherwise, you put up a little picket fence around the city tree on the sidewalk in front of your brownstone.
On your fire escape. Yeah. You get a look at this white picket fire escape, everybody. So things to do here. Oh my. On the website, this one Hanover Township website that has come here and do shit. I'm going to quote from it because it's ballsy.
Yeah.
It's real ballsy. Okay. Quote, Hanover Township has a history rivaling that of Philadelphia or Boston.
Okay.
Probably not. I'm just going to say probably not. Let's just say.
Did Thomas Jefferson live there?
He lived in... He didn't live there anyway.
What about in Philly?
Well, I mean,
he lived in
stayed
Philly?
there, but that's not where he lived.
Didn't he have a house in Philly?
Probably while he was working there, but that's not his estate as Monticello is.
Listen, is Benjamin Franklin buried there?
Yes, that's true. I was going to say, you are not a big history guy.
No.
And you could name multiple historical events that happened in both cities. That's the thing.
Okay, yeah.
You could Boston Tea Party, that, a million different things.
They're claiming as much American history as Boston and Philly.
And they say, but unfortunately, many people don't realize how storied the Morris County community is. Like you, Jimmy.
Okay.
You're unsure of this. And like me as well. I don't want to put it on you. And that's where the Hanover Township Landmark Commission comes in, Jimmy. Yeah. They're going to tell you what's up. Quote, we're attempting to get the word out about this incredible history we have here that people can take pride in. If it was that amazing...
You wouldn't have to do shit.
You wouldn't have to do shit.
No.
Because we've heard of other small places that have had crazy histories. Yeah. I know Deadwood. I know all about it. Not a lot of people live there, though. They didn't live there back then, but I know a lot about it. So I'm sure things happen, don't get me wrong, but you have not done a good job publicizing them.
Yeah.
And you have... That something crazy happens, a lot of history in your town. If you want to promote it, I'll give you a window of... I'll even give you 100 years.
Yeah.
But once we get to 250 or so years, you know what? You missed it.
I'm gonna say it wasn't that goddamn important.
Say your heat died down. Sorry. So many public attractions, they say, including the Whippany Railway Museum. Can't wait to go there, and the Frelinghausen Arbitrarium. So if you want to look at some trees, and the Morris County Library, if you want to go watch homeless people masturbate. So whatever you want to do. That's what's in a library. What do you want from me? So.
There's also books.
Yeah, that's what they're masturbating to or hiding behind as they masturbate. That's the point. So I'm just telling the truth. Have you been in a library lately?
It's a jerk shield. That's what they are.
Jerk shield. That's it. I'm going to get Dickens. It's a good jerk shield. And it's pretty funny because his dick is in there.
I need the taller one.
And the other thing I found here is I am not okay with this. What is this called? This is the It's a Brewfest seafood food truck convention.
Gross.
I'm not buying seafood from a truck.
No.
I'm just not.
And
whether it's on the side of the road here selling shrimp or cooked, even if it's a world-class chef.
Yeah.
If you made it in a building, I don't know what that is in there. You got seafood and it's precarious. And,
you've got Goodyears under your building. What the fuck?
Yeah. I found a Groupon too that's got like For 4 tickets, the Groupon was $160. Tickets to this.
Yeah, tickets to the food truck.
I guess you can just
extravaganza.
Strap a feed bag on and go from truck to truck. I don't know.
And it's a brew house thing, too, so there's beer and seafood just ruining everybody's breath.
Imagine the porta potties, what they're like.
It's coming out of both ends.
Seafood from a truck with beer on top of it in the heat? Get the fuck.
This.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
No, that's not happening. So, crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here, obviously, property crime it's about half the national average. So not much. It's very safe around here kind of thing. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime is a good indicator of how bad it is here. And it's less than half of the national average.
Mad safe.
Under the half.
Yeah.
It's very safe. Some of these communities are like gated. Some of them are like, some of them are just like normal, like these houses in the real estate report were pretty normal houses, but there are some very expensive houses, and there's just not a lot for sale around here because people hang on to this shit, basically. So that said, let's talk about a murder.
Because not everybody's safe.
Yes.
Ever.
Let's talk about a horrible thing that happened here.
Okay.
In this leafy wonderland known as Hanover Township, New Jersey. Let's start out with a young lady. Let's start out with, we're going to go to 1982.
Beautiful.
Think about it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about 1982. Let's talk about an 18-year-old high school senior in 1982. Yeah, she's getting ready in the morning. There's like, We Got the Beat is playing in the background or whatever.
What's happening?
I guess.
I don't know.
Go-Go's or Bananarama or some shit. I don't know what the hell teenage girls listen to.
Smell the
then.
rubber burning as my father takes off out of the driveway.
Yeah.
For me to see him in 27 more years.
That's probably,
That's
your wave.
That's 1982 for me.
He'll be back with cigarettes.
Yeah.
Pretty soon. Yeah, no, 1982 as a child, not wonderful for me either. No. So, but if you were 18 and a high school senior and you were a cheerleader and you got great grades and we're going to go to college and we're very popular and beautiful, you'd probably be listening to We Got the Beat, We Got the Beat. You'd probably be fucking dancing as like the beginning of Adventures in Babysitting or whatever.
Oh,
she's dancing.
Was it that song? No,
it wasn't. It was something else.
Something about Kiss Me. Wasn't it?
I don't fucking remember, but
it was.
It was Elizabeth Shue dancing around. Or whatever. How many movies have started out with somebody that one stupid Britney Spears movie? She's dancing around in her underwear or whatever in the beginning. What? That's how movies start.
I want that one.
Yeah, you're gonna Crossroads.
I don't know that.
Never
movie.
Saw that?
No, Britney Spears was in a movie.
She starred in a movie.
Get
Jimmy.
Out of here.
Starred in it.
Oh my.
She's
terrible, isn't it?
It's like her and I think Justin Long's trying to bang her the whole time.
No,
but he's like a nerd.
And
she's like a nerd. She's like a good girl.
Oh boy,
but she's going on an adventure.
A little Louisiana girl.
Oh yeah, and she's eventually going to get some dick is the end of that journey. So yeah, but she's it's like 2001 too.
Oh
she's like,
my god,
it's weird. So let's talk about Amy Hoffman. It's Amy with an IE, by the way. Not it's AIMIE. Is this Amy? Yeah.
That's confusing as shit.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Amy Hoffman is her name, 18 years old. Like I said, happy-go-lucky high school cheerleader.
Yeah. Having a great time.
Having a good time here. She goes to Parsippany High School there. Parsippany Troy Hills is where they live there. So nice family, everything. She has a 14-year-old little sister. Now, she's, like I said, looking forward to school, real into school stuff. She's a cheerleader. There's a big Thanksgiving football game that she's looking forward to for the school.
Is that homecoming? That's not homecoming, is it? I think that's October.
I never participated in any of that. I don't know when.
I didn't go to dances. I didn't do any of that shit.
I didn't participate in any of that shit. No. I went to prom and wore sneakers in protest, which everybody does now, but at the time I was the only one.
Everybody does it for fun because that looks best with their outfit now.
Yeah.
Because they bought those shoes on purpose for this fit.
Yeah, I just wore like my Charles Barkley's.
Like, I'm not buying.
And everybody was like, "Oh my God, why didn't I do that?
You could just do
sneakers.
that?
That's awesome. That looks great." And then the next year, everybody wore to the prom. But that's the only thing I went to, and that was because I had a girlfriend who was obviously forcing me.
I just didn't go.
You have to.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, no, I wasn't participating in any school activities.
I guess I kind of stood a girl up. A girl wanted me to go with her, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then I just didn't go. And then the next time I saw her, it was after. It was a ways after. Maybe the next year. She never talked to me again.
That's probably for the best. I just smoked the weed outside most of the time. That was my
That's
experience.
a good plan, too.
Yeah, that's it. Going there. So Amy Hoffman, like we said, she's doing all of this shit. She gets along well with her parents, gets great grades, participates in school activities. Her parents are Frank and Florence Hoffman, and Frank Hoffman served in the army in Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, and his wife and he adopted Amy, who is Korean, 13 years ago. So when she was 5, they adopted her and brought her to America. So
they were in Korea.
I believe, she was in Korea. So she is adapting very well. Here's a picture of the cheerleading squad. There she is right there.
Yep.
In the cheerleading squad up in the top
I see
over
her.
there. There you go. That's nice there.
Yep.
So she's doing very well. November 23rd, she also has a job at the mall.
Okay.
So, 80s teenager to the T.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more. This is the opening of an 80s teen movie.
Sure.
Michael J. Fox is going to be in love with her, but she doesn't like him. She likes some other guy, but then she's got to notice him when he turns into a wolf and dunks a basketball. That's the type of stuff we're talking about here. So on the morning of November 23rd, 1982, this is a couple days before Thanksgiving, she gets up here, gets up a little bit late. She's not feeling well. She wasn't feeling well the day before. We'll get into that. But she puts on a blue, rust, and white plaid skirt and a brown sweater and boots and goes to school.
That's not a cheerleading outfit?
No. That
is a cool color combination back then, too.
She's got she's probably like that preppy early 80s, I feel like.
Rust and blue, that's kicking.
Rust, blue, and white.
Yeah.
That probably pops. The white pops on that. Very nice. Now we're into skirt fashion fucking. That's what we're going to do now. Hi, welcome to
Skirt Fashion with James and Jimmie.
Welcome to Skirt Review with James and Jimmie. We're going to review.
Very sexist.
We're going to review. Yeah, it sounds like we're reviewing. No, we're not reviewing women. We're reviewing actual garments, actual skirts for their fashionability. Whether the color combinations go together, does the white pop? How's it going to work?
We're reviewing Macy's spring catalog.
Yeah, well,
this week.
next week. Well, you got to tune into that. That's Patreon, obviously. That's what we do there. So if somebody wants us to do that, we will.
Rust, blue, and white. I like it.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on your, every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Yeah. So she goes to school, talks to her friends. By the way, homecoming dance is coming up. It's not the Thanksgiving one, but there's one coming up soon here. And she's talking about how she is going to be competing for homecoming queen. So, I mean, this is how she is like got it together, this girl here. She would wear a black gown, she was saying. That's what she was telling everyone. I'm going to wear a black gown. I'm going to do this. Sure. This is my plan. Okay. This is a girl that we would have looked at and went, wow, she'll never talk to me. She's got a lot going on for her. I got to find someone who's like, hasn't talked to her parents since she was 9.
Well, this one also speaks or thinks about things that I don't think about. I would never have that on my mind.
I'd never have my shit together that much. So her
She's
parents
got outfits picked out. That's crazy.
Talking about it. Yeah, everything here. Now that day, later on, she goes to work at the mall, the Morris County Mall. Yeah. I mean, hey, what a teenager working at the mall. How more, stereotypical 80s can that be?
Right.
Her mom, she's supposed to get off at 9:30 from work, and she's home by 9:45 if she drives her car.
Yeah.
I have found, I guess you could say evidence, but I found people posting about this that worked in the mall that sometimes she took the bus home.
Amy did,
yeah. And sometimes she drove her car.
Okay.
So I don't know if she was driving her car all the time right now or what, but she took her car to work that night. Okay. When she takes her car, she's home by 9:45. That's that. Yeah. Now her mother Florence says she's a big worrier. So, if she's not home by 9:46, she's looking out the front window looking for headlights to come down the street. She's just, worried mom. That's how she is. So she said when she knew I was home, she was never more than 10 minutes late without calling. Amy is very, you know what I mean? She's very punctual. She's very got it together. Dependable, exactly. So now 9:45 comes around and no Amy. 9:50 comes around, no Amy. 10 o'clock comes around, no Amy. So the mom's like, I mean, it is normal for a teenager maybe got caught in a conversation with her friend or you never know. Maybe she's talking to a boy, and there's no cell phones in 1982.
That's a great point.
So she can't just be like, oh, hold on one second, I got to text my mom and say, yeah, I'll be home in 20 minutes. So she's got to go to a fucking payphone. If their store that she works at's closed, she's got to go to a payphone, put a quarter in, and call her mom. It's a lot. So her mom, though, is not taking any chances. At about 10 o'clock, mom heads to the mall to look for her.
Jesus Christ.
She's 18 years old.
Yeah.
She's literally 15 minutes late coming home, and mom is in the car going there. So that's worrier fits her well. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
It's awesome.
And who knows what motherly instincts you have or...
My mom would have never done that.
No. My mom would have assumed I was fine.
My mom would have waited 15 days and been like, I should go to his job.
Yeah. And then she'd tell me how worried she was afterwards.
I've been worried sick.
Yeah.
Really? It's been 2 weeks.
Here I am. You could have found me 2 weeks ago, too. So, anyway, she was leaving her part-time job. It's at the Surprise store. I think it's a clothing store at the mall. And that's where she worked. She left her part-time job there. And her mom finds her car in the parking lot when she gets there. She goes, okay, well, there's Amy's car. That's, a good sign that she might still be here, obviously, if I see her car. If her car's gone and then she's gone, that's more scary, I would imagine. As you see her car, you go, oh, okay. It's in the rear of parking lot of the mall. And the mom looks around, goes up to the car, looks inside, and inside the car is Amy's jacket, which it's November 23rd in New Jersey at nighttime, so chilly outside. Her jacket, her purse, the doors are unlocked, and the keys in the ignition.
That's not good at all.
No, jacket and purse on the front seat. Key in the ignition, the car's not running, but the key's in the ignition and doors are unlocked. So this is very strange. So her mother thinks, oh, maybe she ran, I forgot something, had to run back in and get. That's the only explanation.
Not where my mind goes, but.
No, but that's the only explanation for where she could be and everything could be fine.
Right.
Is that.
For everything to be okay.
Everything's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she looks around the car. She said that at that point, Florence walks to the liquor store. There's a liquor store in the mall plaza there, and it is the only lit place left. It's the only place with lights on still. So she goes there hoping that must be where Amy is, I guess, because that's the only place with lights on.
She better be drinking.
She goes there and gets to the liquor store, and we'll get back to that in a little bit.
Bye.
Okay, so Amy is
a mess.
We'll get back to Amy.
Okay.
For a minute here, we're going to have to go back to about the late 60s for a second here. Yeah. Let's go back to the late 60s. We got to talk about a guy. James Gerald with a J, by the way.
Okay.
James Gerald Kodatish. Kodatish? Yeah, Kodatish, I think. Koedatich.
I hate it.
Kodatish. Yeah. It's a tough one.
Let's call him James.
Let's call him James.
Or JJ.
Let's call him JJ. I don't want to call him James because also his date of birth is June 12th, 1948. So we have the same birth, obviously decades apart, but the same birthday also. So I don't want to be James and have the same birthday. Call him James J at this point. Jimmy J.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of problems. He's born in 1948, June 12th, 1948. By the late 60s, he's already has a shitload of problems. Teenage arrests. He's been arrested over a dozen times as a teenager. Everything from assaulting a New Brunswick police officer to possession of heroin in a stolen car.
Okay.
He's a general ne'er-do-well fuck-up, this guy, basically. Yeah.
You've got heroin and a stolen car. That's the least of your worries.
Yeah.
Your day's been a shit day.
It's been a shit day, and your life is just
it's a mess.
It's a mess. It is literally a mess.
You really can't wait to go to bed so that you can dream of a better life.
Because when you get up, you got to go, okay, not only do I have to figure out how to get money for heroin, but then I got to find a way to get there. I got to steal a car to get some. Yeah.
They're looking for this one already.
Yeah, this is bad stuff. So everything in there, and most of the charges are between 1967 and 1970, all around Morristown, New Jersey. So right in this area. This is his stomping ground.
He's a real problem.
He is an issue in the late 60s and early, up to 1970. A huge issue. As a teenager, escape is his thing, by the way. If you catch him, you better hold him tight because he's not going to stay voluntarily.
Squirmy.
He's a little squirmy one. We have these guys that are escapers, and that's always the weirdest personality type. Who's
you're right. It's a personality.
It's a personality type.
Watching the Rikers,
you're not going to hold me. It's
the Rikers documentary. There's 40, 50 guys in that documentary.
Yeah.
The most interesting man is the one they call a Rabbit Man. Because he's a runner.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. He's fascinating. And I just want to sit and talk to him.
It's true. In every jail
Running Man. That's what they call him.
Yeah. Running Man.
Yeah.
Every jail book I've read too, they always talk about every prison. There's one guy who's like the escape artist who's like, that guy broke out of like 5 jails and shit. There's always that guy.
They love him.
Yeah, because he's like the the cowboy basically. Right. He's like the robbing the stage.
He's living the life they wish they could.
Yeah, I want to escape out of here, even though then he just gets another 5 years.
Yes.
But still, this guy's one of those guys. So that tells you that you don't think about the future. You're already locked up.
Yeah.
So if you try to escape, you're either thinking, A, I'm going to get away forever,
right,
which is probably an unreasonable thought. Probably not going to happen.
Also, can you fly? Because no, you're not doing either of those.
Yeah, either that or I'm going to leave and they're going to catch me and then I'm going to get an extra shitload added to my sentence. But like I get to be free for 3 days. Is that worth it?
And also, if you escape and get away, and then they catch you, they're going to add time to it. They're also going to put you in an area that's much harder to run from.
That's the other thing. And with him, there's two ways people escape. There's the people who try to do it they put a dummy in the bed and they escape in the laundry basket and they sneak out.
Right.
They sneak out. Then there's the guys who are like the Ben Kramer guy who's
nuts.
Let's fly a helicopter into the yard and try to lift me out of here.
And they drop me bolt cutters and I'll cut through the fence.
That's the type of guy. Yeah, or Dotzik just rip through it.
Yeah.
That's the type of guy we have here. He apparently, according to Morris County officials, they said as a teenager, he once escaped from the Annandale Correctional Facility in a, quote, blaze of gunfire.
Holy...
So he somehow got a hold of firearms in jail.
He was firing the weapons.
And, escaped, basically had a shootout as he escaped with prison officials.
Lord.
So that's, as a teenager, that's what he was doing. And then heroin, stolen cars, a little bit of a loose cannon we got here, okay? So...
yeah,
a little bit. So he's born in 48. So we go to 71, June 7th, 71. So 5 days before his 33rd birthday here. He is in jail and he escapes again. This is the Jackson Memorial Hospital this is down, I believe, in Florida. He escapes while... basically, he is in a jail hospital and for a wound that he self-inflicted in jail.
Okay.
Got to the hospital where it's an easier place to escape. There's less security, and then he escaped. He sawed off a leg shackle.
That's genius.
To get out of here.
Yeah.
A lot of guys do that. They got to watch that.
The Running Man, that's what he was trying to get. He was trying to get put into a psychiatric ward because it's
way
easier
less
to escape.
security.
Right.
Way less security there. Yeah, so that's how it always is. It's all just easier living, basically. So... that's how that goes right there. So that's
Jesus.
June 7th,
cut
71.
himself on purpose to go to the hospital.
To go to the hospital to saw his shackle off to run away.
Wow.
This guy's a problem,
Yeah.
let's just say. So while he's escaped from jail, June 13th, 1971, the day after his birthday, he was in jail for a robbery down in Florida. That's why he was in there. His roommate is a guy named Robert J. Anderson, who's 40 years old at the time, so he's a little older than him. They live in Surfside, Florida. I don't know where the fuck that is, but it's an apartment in Surfside.
Imagine it's on the coast.
Yeah.
Assumed by Daytona.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, Robert J. Anderson hadn't been picked up yet for this robbery, but James had.
Okay.
And I guess Robert, there was some thought on James's part that Robert may have some loose lips about this robbery and maybe trying to get himself out of trouble by implicating James a little bit more.
You son of a bitch.
Absolutely. So what he does is he goes home to his apartment at 9208 Collins Avenue in Surfside.
On escape?
While he's escaped, he goes to his apartment where his roommate was, and he kills him.
Wow.
That's what he does. Yeah, he kills him. The police, acting on a tip, found Robert J. Anderson stuffed into the closet of that apartment.
What the shit?
Absolutely. As police arrived, a man bolted from the apartment, and they shot him, but he wasn't seriously wounded, and he got away.
What? And that was JJ.
That is JJ here.
Jesus.
That man is identified as James Kodich, who had escaped from the hospital there. He was being treated for, like we said, self-inflicted wound and drug addiction as well. And he had moved in with Anderson after his escape, and they said that he came back there. That was where he was staying. He didn't live there beforehand. That was his current roommate on escape. And he said that they had been involved in an altercation, and he had been killed. They think he strangled him. Wow. So they charge him with first-degree murder for this because he's trying to also cover up a crime here. So in his defense, though, he's got a defense here. This is awesome. He says, listen, Robert J. Anderson made sexual advances toward me, so I had to murder him.
That's a fascinating defense.
Yeah, the robbery and all that stuff is all secondary. Yeah, I'm mad at him for that, for telling on me and stuff, but he tried to put his dick on me, and that's where I draw the line. That's it right there.
Yeah.
He said an argument occurred after that, and he had to kill Anderson. What else can you do? He said...
be flattered and walk away.
Yeah, right? Go, hey, listen, I appreciate it.
That is so
no
sweet.
thanks.
No,
but in his mind, he's like, well, so obviously I had to kill him. He didn't say, I woke up with him inside me.
Right.
He said he made a sexual advance, to which your first response should be, no, thank you. And then after that... maybe
if it was not,
if it's violent,
right?
Then,
if it's a violent,
you have to defend
rape,
yourself. Yeah, go for it. Hey,
fight back,
do what
man.
yeah, if he was saying like I was trying to fend off.
He got 2 inches in, and I pushed him out.
Nope,
and then I killed him.
He said we got in an argument over it, and I killed him, which is way different.
I'm not giving it to you. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. I'll kill you. What? How do you get there?
I can't imagine. So he told the story of the argument and the killing to a friend of his, Marie Carr, and then she related it to another friend, Frank Morris, and then Morris went to the apartment where he found the dead body.
Okay.
So that's how this goes. And never tell anybody that you killed somebody.
No.
That's probably dumb. So later, this Morris guy notified the Surfside police, and 2 officers went back to the apartment with him. They were like, okay, show me the body, Lassie. Take me to it.
Yeah.
And they did. And, when they got to the apartment, they tried to open the door, but it was held by the chain lock.
Yeah.
And then tried to look into the apartment through the windows, but he couldn't because the drapes were closed. So they grabbed the door, broke the chain, and entered the apartment. That's when James J. was standing near the windows. He didn't say anything when they entered or began looking for the body. He just stood there, and they couldn't find the body until Morris said, no, he's in that closet back there, because they were like, we don't see him. And it was, I guess, blocked by a bed. James had moved a bed in front of the closet at that point. It was discovered, and then James took off. And eventually he's caught. Mm-hmm. They chase him down. I don't know if they follow the blood trail or what. But
he's wounded.
He's a wounded man running. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he goes to prison for this at this point. And they end up giving him, let's just say, you, sir, he's convicted of second-degree murder.
Wow.
And you, sir, may fuck off 20 years in prison for killing him.
That's unbelievable.
He's wild, man.
That's so weak.
He's 20 years for strangling.
For a very bad man.
For covering up and even covering up another crime. So yeah, he's
awful one.
Very dangerous man so far. This is going to escalate. This can't. If he's willing to strangle a guy he knows just to cover up a robbery, it's not even a murder.
Right.
That's a dangerous
his 30s.
guy. Yeah. Now, January 13th, 1972, there's some guy getting a convicted robber sentenced to 99 years of hard labor.
Jesus.
Okay, which seems, I don't know.
In the 70s, that was a punishment still?
I don't know what you could be robbing for 99 years of hard labor. Unless somebody died, especially, I don't know, somebody vulnerable of some kind, a child or something. 99 years of hard labor seems excessive, I feel like.
It's a bit much.
A robbery is... anything is worth that. So that's crazy. So what ends up happening is this guy is convicted to this, and then our man, James J. here, he steps up from the Rayford State Prison where he's serving 20 years for second-degree murder, and he testifies that he and 2 other men, including the guy who he killed, actually committed the robbery, not the guy you gave 99 years to. That was us that did it.
He's got a heart.
Well, he's in for 20 years anyway, I feel like. And
I don't know, he got 99 for robbery. You got 20 for murder.
Yeah.
What if they give you that?
I don't know what he's trying to prove here, but he said that he and Herman were in his car at the scene, quote, sleeping off a drunk, and that dude had no part in the robbery. Just no part of it at all. That's the Muncie robbery this is. It's the Muncies were the people whose home it was. He said everybody fled. They swam down a nearby canal and into the Biscayne Bay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Gross.
I know, gross. The detective here said that he took a police boat to the canal behind Mrs. Muncie's home and determined the escape route. And so they said it's all him. He did it. And they said, no, you didn't. Basically, that's what ended up happening.
They let the other guy stay in anyway?
Yeah, they let him stay in because they didn't believe him.
Wow.
They introduced evidence that the motel key and fingerprints found in the guy's car and at the robbery scene, so he was there. She also pointed out that James J. and Greenwood shared a jail cell during separate arrests, so they've known each other and they could have concocted this in jail, basically. Jail officials reported Wednesday that after being returned from Rayford for the trial, he was misplaced and was again found sharing a cell with the robber. So basically, he figured out how to get into the cell and hang out and scheme with this guy.
Yeah.
And the Greenwood guy had several prior robbery convictions as well. So
so he probably did it.
He probably did it. Yeah. So James J. appeals his murder conviction here.
Yeah.
He does. He appeals it. He says that there's reversible error because of his Fourth Amendment rights were violated due to the warrantless search of his apartment.
Okay.
The seizure of the deceased's body. The seizure of the body.
Yeah. How could you just take that?
How could you? I was using that. I was saving that for later.
Yeah.
You don't get to just keep a body. They can take that.
Right.
You don't say that's mine now.
It's generally, I don't think you're allowed to. I
No.
think legally you have to.
You have to notify someone.
Forfeit that.
Yeah, you have to give it up. You can't just hang on to that for a while. So he's upset about the seizure of the deceased body, which is maybe the craziest thing I've ever read in a legal document, and the warrantless arrest. Well, I mean, if he ran away from a place with a dead body,
Yeah.
even with a gunshot wound, that's signs of guilt, I would say.
I'd be more happy to be in possession of ounces of cocaine than a dead body.
And a body stuffed into a closet
Yeah.
where I'm the only other guy in the house.
I don't want any possession of
No,
that. No matter how it died, they're going to figure out how to put me away for it.
I'd rather you walk in while I'm sitting behind Scarface's desk with, I guess I'm fucked.
I think I could explain that away better.
I could. I don't know who put this here. It's better than a dead body.
Officer, I'm glad you're here. I've been looking at this. I think it's cocaine.
I want you to take a closer look. What do you think?
I was just about to call you guys.
It is? Oh, get it out of here. Get it out of here. I can't have this in my home.
To do with this.
Jesus Christ.
I got neighbors.
Good God. I tell the kids all the time, clean their shit up. What the hell?
But with the body, you can't do that.
No, you're fucked. There's no, oh shucks. You can't go and make it go away. That's problem solved. This is a dead 40-year-old man stuffed into a closet.
Matter of fact, that only makes it worse.
Yeah. Gone. Or either way. Can be taken out either
in or out.
Inhale or exhale to get rid of cocaine. In a way. So, they said that no, fuck you, stay in jail. You're affirmed. There you go. So he's in prison, 20 years. September 6th, 1973, we hear from him again.
Oh, boy.
So he's really fucking, he's messing up.
Yeah.
Well, he's not mouthy here. No. This time he's murdery. Oh. Because he stabs up another inmate.
Oh, my God.
At the Florida State Prison where he killed an inmate, actually. So he, Jerry Kent Barber, who was serving 12 years on kidnapping counts, was identified as the victim. The spokesman for the prison here said that James J. was being held in connection with this killing as well. He's already serving his sentence, obviously. They said that he's being charged with another second-degree murder. They said that the other guy provoked the incident by threatening him with a razor blade. That's what his story was. James J. said he threatened me with a razor blade. He told corrections officers that he grabbed Barber by the neck and kept squeezing it until he was unconscious. And then he ended up being pronounced dead at the scene. So he strangled this guy. He's got 2 strangles under his belt now at this point.
He disarmed a man with a blade and strangled him.
He did. And then the prison official says preliminary indication from corrections officials say that this may have been a justifiable homicide.
Really?
Because, there's a razor involved. And I think they look into it less probably with a kidnapper and a murderer in a cell.
Then, probably very little.
Like, he had a razor? I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
People have razors in here. I could see it. You know what I mean? I don't know how they dealt with it.
Seems to be a go-to weapon there.
He strangled the shit out of guys. So now he's got 2 dead bodies at least on him that we know of here. They said he may face a murder charge, though, after that. And they never end up actually giving him another murder charge.
Really?
So, he's just going to do his 20 years.
He killed a man and got away with it.
Got away with it.
Jesus Christ.
Free like OJ, as New Jack would say.
That is unbelievable,
got
James.
away with it. That's crazy. So October 18th, 1982, James is released from prison after doing about 11 years.
And killing 2 human beings.
2 deaths.
Holy shit.
Robberies, heroin, stolen cars, escape, hail of gunfire, sawing off shackles, you name it,
Get
11
the
years.
hell out.
That's it. It's just over half his time. 11 years he does. So he is released there October 18th, 1982. He's coming into a different world from 71 to 82.
Yeah.
Very different world.
Right.
I mean, you're talking from hippie to Reagan.
Yeah.
It's a very different world. Completely different. So he gets out of there, and he'd been in there exactly pretty much 11 years, almost to the day, like a month shy of it. He moves in with his mother in Morristown, New Jersey.
Really?
They let him go up to Morristown, New Jersey.
Okay.
And that's where he moves in, back in with mom, his stepdad.
Yep.
There's a stepbrother there, a younger stepbrother, all sorts of people living in this house.
It's a lot.
Imagine the environment he came from, just put it that way. And I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know, it might be fine. He might just have a screw loose, but generally,
even in a house this crowded, coming from the house he just got out of, it's pretty empty and open.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe that was that reviewer's problem.
Yeah.
They were in prison. The space I'm in is overpopulated.
Yeah.
It's like all sorts of murderers and criminals everywhere. I can't get away from these people.
I hate the block I live in.
Yep, that's it. So that's October 18th, 1982. He's released. He's out on the street wandering Morristown, New Jersey. Okay. Now, November 21st, 1982. This is 2 days before Amy went to the mall and her mom couldn't find her. Let's catch back up with Amy and see what she was up to before that, okay? On November 21st, she woke up at 10:30 a.m. and at 12:30, her childhood friend of hers and a fellow cheerleader arrived and drove her to a guy named Timothy Day's house, where a group of friends were there and they watched a football game on TV.
Okay.
So that's where she, went to a gathering of a bunch of friends.
Sure.
Sounds like fun.
Watch the Giants.
It's what cool kids did in high school.
Yeah.
So at the conclusion of the football game, this guy, the Timothy Day, drove his friends to the Rainbow Lakes Firehouse, where a spaghetti dinner took place in honor of the school's cheerleaders and football players.
The firehouse?
Yeah, it's probably a fundraiser for the school, for the firehouse, or for the cheerleading and football team or whatever. But yeah, they're having a spaghetti dinner at the firehouse.
Okay.
To raise funds for something. So at the firehouse, there was an incident, not sure what, but her friend Karen, who she had went to the party with, or went to watch the football game with, at the firehouse during a spaghetti dinner, hurt herself badly enough to need to go to the emergency room.
Karen.
I don't know what you could do eating spaghetti in a firehouse that you could injure yourself to an emergency level, but there's not even a knife involved.
No.
It's just twirl it. What do you do? I don't know. I'm nothing against Karen, but how do you hurt yourself? Did she fall? Maybe she came down the pole too hard?
Dalmatian biter?
I have no clue.
What the fuck?
I don't know what happened.
Also, stick around the firehouse. They got a lot of tools to take care of you.
Yeah, well, I think they just probably put the sirens on, took her right to the hospital is how they did it, probably. Throw her in the truck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what she did there. Amy accompanied her to the hospital, and also Karen's mother was there, and they were there for about an hour and a half while Karen was treated. They then went back to Karen's house and hung out till about 11 o'clock p.m. when a high school classmate who had been there and drove Amy home. Okay. So that's her day that day.
What a day.
Not a bad Sunday.
A little bit nutty.
Yeah, but
closed up pretty shitty.
Closed up shitty with the trip to the emergency room, but a football game and a plate of spaghetti is not a bad day.
Not horrible.
Can't go wrong there. So on Monday, November 22nd, the next day, Amy woke up, but this day she stays home from school.
That's the original Karen ruining a good time.
Yeah. That's grim Karen.
Karen's been shitty since 1982.
Karen, damn it, Karen. Now she's injured at the firehouse. How do you hurt yourself while you're eating spaghetti, Karen? Good God.
It's the softest food on earth. Did you not cook it and you stabbed yourself? What happened?
So grim. So grim. Poor Karen. So, yeah, that day, November 22nd on Monday, Amy does not go to school. She has menstrual cramps. Yep. She is cramping up pretty good. So
it's awful.
Yeah, it must be bad. So she doesn't go to school. Her and her mom spend most of the day talking and hanging out and, whatever. So that evening, her and her family visit the close family friends of theirs, the Weavers. That's how that goes. That's her Monday night. So the next day is Tuesday, November 23rd. Mm-hmm. That's the day we talked about. She still felt sick, so she she slept a little late and went to school later. She put on, like we said, the pattern that we liked so much.
Yeah.
The rusted and blue and
now
white.
It makes sense. Now it makes so much more sense.
Skirt talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now.
Those are great colors for that day.
I was waiting for you to... When we said the rust, you were like, that's a good pattern. I was like, I wanted to say there's probably a reason because I knew this was coming, but I was
hang tight, Whisman.
We'll wait till we get there. Okay. And then by the time we got there, I forgot about it, and I'm glad you got it.
Just in case.
I was saving it for you. So she sleeps late. She does that. She goes to school, and she has lunch at school with her friend Karen, who I assume has recovered from her spaghetti injury. And apparently it was just a minor injury.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's like, I tried to get a strand up from my throat through my nose so I could go back and forth
with it.
Do the little...
The saw string.
It broke and it was stuck in there.
It's just in my sinus.
They had to get a long tweezer, and it was crazy. It's the only way you could hurt yourself with spaghetti. I'm sorry. I don't know how else you could do it.
I don't know either.
I'd really like to know that. So
tried to hang herself. I don't know.
I don't know. So that would have broke too. It's not good. So Amy then, after school's over, accompanies Karen to a dentist's appointment in Denville. Her whole life is going to the doctor with this lady, with Karen. How about the dentist? How about the emergency room? I'm going to the chiropractor afterwards. Would you like to be there? I've got a 6:30 abortion. Are you in? No, not that I'm not saying anything about Karen, but just,
who knows?
Anything that's Amy has to be at the doctor with her.
I'm going to go to the esthetician and get a landing strip carved in.
You want to be there?
Want to be there?
You're going to be there? Hold my hand.
Come on.
So that's the difference. Women will do that too.
Yeah.
They'll be like, all right, I'll go with you. Whereas if you were like, I'm going to go get my balls waxed, you want to come with me? I'd be like, for what?
A, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
B, why are you inviting me?
B, no. That's real personal between you and whoever's waxing your balls.
Appreciate you not showing me that when you're done.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't want to see any pictures later. No shiny white scrotal pictures. Thank you. So they returned to school at about 2:30. So that was after lunch. So she went to school late, went to lunch and a dentist appointment, and then got back to school.
Come back.
Yeah, because cheerleading practice is there. So she's got to go to cheer practice. That's how that works. Practice ended at about 4:45. And a girl named Karen Ursek, whose locker was next to Amy's, noticed that Amy was wearing purple underwear, a brownish purple sweater, a plaid skirt, like we said, and cowboy boots.
Why
like
are we looking at her underwear?
It'll come. It's important later. So
yeah, but how did she see it?
Because they're all changing next to each other.
Not just a regular locker.
No,
in the dressing room.
Yeah, not in the hallway.
Right. I was like, what?
4:45, her cheer locker. Not this.
I didn't hear you say anything about a cheer locker.
Amy is, she's very confident.
Yeah.
She's a very confident young lady. And
I just saw her standing in a hallway.
With purple underwear on, being like, that's right. Vote for me for homecoming queen. No, that's not what happened. That would have been, it's an aggressive marketing ploy, I would say, in high school. So Amy got dressed quickly and left at about 5:05 p.m. because she had to be at her part-time job. She's a busy girl. If you're in high school and you have a bunch of activities and a job, you're a busy person. You got a lot going on. So she has to go there. It's the surprise store for women, because there's also a surprise store for men, apparently. Okay. Apparently they're clothing stores. She's got a part-time job there. According to Christine Gonzalez, who worked at the surprise store for men, Amy arrived for work shortly after 5 p.m. She took a dinner break after 8, no later than 8:30. She went to McDonald's and ordered a Coke, French fries, and chicken nuggets. Okay. So she got some McNuggets. By the way, this is pre-National McNugget rollout.
Really?
This is Select Market McNugget time still.
Lucky.
81 and 82. New York always had the New York market always had the test shit.
Sure.
We always did. Like when they tried to have hot dogs, the McDonald's by us had hot dogs for a while growing up. Yeah, they tried to do hot dogs.
Plan.
Like the early 90s, it was like, hey, hot dogs.
I mean, what goes better with a hot dog or a hamburger than a hot dog?
But they looked like shit, too. They were like bad. They didn't even look like gas station hot dogs. They were really anemic looking.
Red?
No, they were like a pale. They were gross looking, man.
Jesus.
They looked like shit. So, but that we used to get all the test shit. So apparently she got to experience McNuggets early.
Good for her.
So fries, a Coke, and McNuggets. Popular cheerleader, job at a clothes store in the mall, having McNuggets, fries, and a Coke at her mall job. As 80s as it gets.
Yeah.
Like it's basically Stranger Things is happening right now. That's what I feel like we're in. Complete Stranger Things.
And every day she's like, this is so much better than what is probably going on in Korea.
I'm
this
sure.
is amazing.
Yeah. Well, maybe not.
Maybe. Who knows?
She had something good going on.
They might have the test shit going on in Korea.
But we don't know. Yeah. Who knows? I don't want to besmirch. I've never been to Korea.
That's a great point.
I can't say the Korea.
I just don't know that
if it's North Korea,
80s,
definitely.
For sure.
For sure. Everywhere here.
If it's Seoul, who fucking knows?
Everywhere here maybe Cleveland, but everywhere else, honestly, is no comparison to North Korea. It's got to be better, I would say. I mean, obviously, Cleveland,
touch and go.
It's touch and go there.
There might be some neighborhoods of Cleveland that are great.
That don't have a Cleveland bar in the hotel room.
The majority of the place
do it.
is horrific.
Yeah, it's not great. So
wide open businesses, boards on the windows.
Nice people, though.
Unbelievable.
Worse, we always say, worse the city, better the crowd. That's how it always is. They're always the best people. And they're always like, oh, this place sucks.
Wish I could go.
Ah, Christ. I wish I could
come with you?
Yeah, I wish we could come with you. You need a roadie? People have said that to us a lot of time. Please take me with you. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So Barbara Horwath, Barbara Horwath, an employee, I just want to say Horwash, which sounds really weird. Barbara Horwath, an employee of the Kodak Jewelers, who regularly uses the Surprise Store's restroom, saw Amy eating fries at about 8:15.
Okay.
And she went in to use the crapper.
Yeah.
And she saw some French fries. So Chris,
and these circle things.
I don't know what they was. Little hamburger chunks. I don't know what she was eating. They were brown though.
Tiny breaded burgers.
I don't know. They were weird looking. So according to that Christine Gonzalez, again, the men's Surprise Store lady, she saw Amy again at about 9:20. This is when Christine helped Amy close the women's store, and Amy returned the favor at the men's store. So the closing people helped each other close, which makes sense. That's cool. Close that gate. Lock it and all that shit.
We have the same policies on counting down the register. You know how to do it.
Exactly. One person can do one thing while the other one does. It makes sense. So Christine needed a ride home that evening. She was stranded, basically. But Amy doesn't offer her a ride because her mother was going to do her hair that night. So Amy told her, I can't. I have to rush home. Yep. My mother's giving me a home perm. She's getting a home perm
at 10 p.m.
That night. Yeah. So, because then it's got to set and all that shit. Okay. So she's going to give me the home perm, and so I got to rush home. She's sitting there probably with plastic gloves on, waiting for me. So that's what she tells her, and they leave the mall about 9:35. Amy is carrying her book bag still from school, still got her backpack on. So, I mean, looking like a high school student, leaving the mall. At the mall exit, Christine says goodnight to Amy and turned right, while Amy went straight back through the emptying parking lot to her car. Okay. So that's how that went. And that's where she saw her there. Now, Barbara Horwath, again, left the Kodak Jewelers a few minutes earlier than Amy had left the Surprise Store. She walked out the main exit straight back into the back parking lot. She walked out with 3 other employees, and they gradually split up until she remained with only one other person, Debbie McLean. They stopped to chat for like 5 minutes. That manager, isn't she? Yeah. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I came back 2 minutes late for my break. Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
I even put a restroom in the Jewelers. I have to go over to the Surprise Store.
It's ridiculous.
It's embarrassing.
And have you tried those McNuggets? They make you shit. I tried them. They're delicious, but man, will you shit.
May have been that
You'll
tangy
shit
sauce
so
you dip
much.
it in.
It's a sweet and sour.
Yeah.
It was sweet and it made my stomach sour. I was pooping.
And I shit up the surprise, I said.
Surprise! Shit up your bathroom. Have a good one, crew. And she leaves.
It's your
You're
fault
like,
for calling
what
the
the
surprise
fuck?
store.
Surprise!
I left you a surprise.
It's a big one. And where it is the biggest surprise of all. You'll never guess.
You'll find it next week.
Good luck, everybody. Have a good one. One of those circular clothing racks right underneath. The ones you hide in when you're a kid.
Yeah. Scare the shit out of your
And
mom.
your mom goes, "Where are you, you son of a bitch?" And you're, this is great. And she fucking beats the shit out of you and in public for that.
This is so funny. And
I've been beaten in public for
grabs
doing
you by
that.
the collar of your shirt.
I've been smacked repeatedly in public for that. Just that quick machine stuff.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. I have those. I don't know if that's just Italian mothers that do that. And give you like five. While you're in arm's reach, I'm going to whack you as many times as I can. It's not just one and then see the results. Some parents will do. They'll hit the kid and then see what happened. Italian mothers are like, they'll just beat you until
they know there's a cry coming and they don't care which one it is.
as many shots as they can get in before you're running away. And then they're going to chase you too, but they assume that you have sneakers on probably. You're faster.
I did that shit to my mom and just sat there. I didn't move. And then I heard her feet stomping away and I knew where she was going. So I got up. She's like halfway to customer service. I'm like, Mom. And she goes, she has my sister in her arm and she ran back and beat me with her left hand.
That's what it is. And we're not obviously condoning child abuse.
I am.
We're condoning child abuse on us.
Yeah.
Yes. We needed to be smacked. Don't hit your kids.
No.
We don't want anybody to get hit. We're not think it's funny that kids get hit, but we think that old timey kid beating is pretty funny when it's on us. That we turned out fine, generally, essentially.
and that's the other part.
We haven't
people
killed
are like,
anybody. We
people
didn't
are like, well, I
affect us.
turned out fine. Listen, I did not turn out fine.
No, but I
am
mean,
fucked up.
it wouldn't be funny if our whole life were that was like a big deal. It was just more
If I was
like,
telling that story from behind bars, it would be
that
different.
would be worse. Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know an Italian kid that grew up anytime I don't know how it is right now, but anytime pre 1990, 1995, if they were born, that didn't get the shit beaten out of them at some point. It's just how it happened. So now, while they were talking, Barbara Horwath and Debbie McClain, Barbara notices in front of them a greenish blue vehicle with a vinyl roof and what she described as putty marks on the driver's side.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that look.
Fucking Bondo.
It's an older car. It's an older model. She doesn't know what it is, but it's not new.
Sounds like a Maverick.
Yeah, it's probably a Tornado or something.
Duster or some piece of shit.
Some hunk of shit.
Dart with a vinyl roof.
Yeah.
I mean, every model really came with one of those.
A Nova that hasn't been kept up. Something poor like that. Yeah, something just shitty. So she ends up, like I said, seeing the greenish blue car with putty marks on the side. The driver's side window was down about 4 inches. She said she could see the driver in profile. She said his eyes were dark. His hair was curly and light-colored blonde curly hair is what she said, how she described his hair. She said his nose was pointy. At one point, the driver turned and looked toward them. Barbara could see dark markings on the sides of his nose and under his eyes. She said his nose was prominent, like maybe if you had glasses on.
Oh, okay.
Possibly like markings.
I thought you meant like NFL Sunday markings.
Well, she said sides of the nose.
Got it.
So that makes me think that
He wears glasses.
might be glasses possibly or something or he had glasses on recently. She said his nose was prominent and his hair was shoulder length and she saw, quote, gold around the collar. Okay. So I don't know if that meant a necklace or what, but that was what was described. Barbara says goodnight to Debbie McClain, walks past the car that she saw. She said she saw 6 rear lights, 3 on each side. That's the setup, and identified the car as a Chevy, similar to her sister's Chevy Bel Air. Yeah. She said she got in the car and drove down toward the mall. As she left, she saw Amy walking up the parking lot toward her car, so she passed her in her car. Like we said, Amy's mom is at this point. Some time goes by. Amy's mom gets to the mall at 10:15. Found the car in the parking lot, keys in the ignition. Amy's jacket, pocketbook, and wallet are all in the car. Keys in the ignition, and she called the police at that point when she couldn't find. She went to the liquor store. No Amy. Yeah. That was the thing. Lights on, no Amy there. So that's when she called the police. Patrolman William Plate, a Hanover Township canine officer came to the mall with his dog, actually, and to investigate missing person. And once at the mall, they met up at Amy's car and attempted to get the dog, tried to get a scent on her. And after scenting, he tracked about 2 parking spaces from Amy's car, but then stopped. So whatever car she's in was probably 2 spaces away. That's where the scent ended for the dog. So they placed, obviously they interpreted the behavior that the scent ended there. And so they think that she's been taken. She's been taken. If she's not home, there's some problem here. She's been taken and probably not voluntarily. So by the next day, this is the biggest fucking story in northern New Jersey. This is going to be a homecoming queen, popular cheerleader, pictures of her in her cheer outfit all over, missing,
ATVs
find
going
her.
out everywhere.
Holy shit, where's Amy? At school. Oh, man, they go nuts at school. They're showing their picture to everybody. All the kids are going around trying to find her.
If only they had an Amy alert.
Something. An Amy alert would have been good instead of an Amber. Well, Amber's fine too, but we could have had Amy back then.
Well, maybe we should have started it back then. And Amber might still be here.
Or maybe if it was someone before Amy, if it was like an Andy alert or I don't know, some shit like that, maybe. I don't know.
Alert.
Going back and
I mean,
an Aaron
to
alert
to the very first kid that ever disappeared.
So
Jeff, I don't know what his name her name was. There was a kid first time. It was
a long time ago.
We should have had whatever technology then
plucked from a cave and drawn. Now, Thanksgiving Day, the Thanksgiving Day football pep rally was to be held the next day as well. So at 8 a.m., the cheerleaders all got there half hour before the rally, and the cheerleading coach said that the girls were all hysterical because she was missing. That makes sense that they're all freaking out. So the coach, this woman, recalled telling the cheerleaders, this is crazy, by the way, quote, "You have a job to do." They're cheerleaders. They don't have a job to do.
There's no job.
Even if they're athletes, there's no job. You're a high school person. You don't have that job. You have a school waiting for a pep rally, and you have to think positively that everything will be okay.
Wow.
Yep. The cheerleaders cheered at the rally, and
dry your eyes, get out there and shake your teenage ass.
And literally, I want to see some teeth.
Right.
Smile. Like fucking really. I mean, school spirit.
Yeah.
I want to see school spirit pumping from you guys. Each girl attached a helium-filled balloon with her name on it to a megaphone, and Amy's balloon was tied to the fence near the field.
Jeez.
So this is a really, again, grim. This is a grim thing
People
here.
are obviously devastated.
Big time. Now, the coach said that her theory was that the killer was someone in uniform. She tells the newspaper, "I think the killer is someone in uniform." She said that Amy would go with someone in authority. She was very trusting, and she said that it might have been either someone who said either that or someone who said they needed her help. She said she was very helpful and was someone who would always help someone. And she said, quote, "The one thing that always bothered me was Amy's trust." Yeah. One thing that bothered me is she was a nice kid. Okay, so
the thing that I hated about her was that she was just so trusting.
She'd just trust anybody. Yeah. So Thanksgiving Day, 1982. This is there's a place called the Old Mendham Waterworks located in Randolph Township, and it's got big water retaining tanks and shit like that there. Yeah. There's a big center holding tank there with water. They're made of cement and are very isolated and surrounded by three sides by woods. So, they keep them out there. There's a road called Combs Hollow Road located about 100 yards to the west of the holding tanks with a dirt road that leads up to the tanks, a maintenance road. You know that goes being an electric guy. You followed a road to a thing.
That road, yeah.
Yep. A bridge separates Combs Hollow Road and the dirt road. Now, there's a couple here walking their dog in this area, and they make a pretty bad discovery here.
Oh, boy.
They find Amy in the tank, face down, floating.
Oh, no.
She is wearing, at the time they find her, it's not good. And what ended up, we'll go into what happened here. She's wearing the same panties. She was wearing the purple panties, so that's a thing. That's why they said that. Same underwear.
Sure.
Sweater, skirt, and cowboy boots that she had worn the last time she was seen.
Yeah.
Same outfit completely. Now, there's blood stains on the sides of the tank all over it. Amy's ring is found on the ground near the center tank, and her wristwatch is found in the holding tank.
Jesus.
There. And then there's a really weird part here. Her cut hair was found around the body as well as on the ground outside of the tank.
Weird.
Yeah, somebody chopped all her hair up. A kidney-shaped pool of blood, 18 inches long and 9 inches wide, was found on the sandy ground near the tank. A trail of blood led from the kidney-shaped pool to the wall of the holding tank to the right corner of the center tank. So the police obviously took her out of the water, and she's examined, and they found a long open gash on the left side of her head.
Shit.
An L-shaped wound to her right shoulder, and short injuries at the base of her neck. Her left ear had been severed.
What?
I don't know if that was
in the middle of cutting the hair.
Cutting the hair, leaving a deep wound that he said would not have caused death, but would have prevented her from holding her head straight. She wouldn't have been able to keep her, herself together.
The equilibrium was so fucked up?
This wound extended all the way through her soft tissue to the spinal column.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was like a chopped the ear off.
That's unbelievable.
Like a psychopath. Wow, that's crazy. There was a short laceration at the base of her nose and 2 severe chest wounds, one penetrating 4.5 inches.
Jesus.
Stab wounds, the other penetrating more than 7 inches.
That's deep.
Through her lungs and back between the 9th and 10th ribs, all the way through to the back of the ribs. That's
good Lord,
fucking brutal. That is absolutely brutal.
Somebody's destroying her.
Yeah, they think it might have been caused by a bayonet.
Oh,
or a large knife similar to a bayonet.
Holy
they said.
Shit.
The doctor concluded that the structure of the wounds that they were caused by a single-edged knife held perpendicular to her chest. He hypothesized the knife was inserted, causing the 4.5-inch wound, then partially withdrawn, then thrust in deeply.
Oh, Christ!
Didn't even get it all the way out, causing the 7-inch wound. Yeah.
Holy hell, man.
It's even worse, man. She had defensive wounds on her right hand, as though she attempted to grab the blade, just like it was a slice, like she grabbed onto it to try to protect herself. Also, abrasions and bruises on her left thigh, lower arm, consistent with her having been dragged over the retention tank wall. The internal examination reveals that she had apparently eaten a short time prior to her death. In her stomach were found fragments of white meat from chicken.
Yeah.
So that says, number one, that everybody's reports were correct of what she was doing, and number two, that there actually is white meat chicken in chicken nuggets, which everybody has. Scientifically, there it is. So I mean, it is not to be.
It is white in color.
Not to be. Yeah, he said white meat chicken, like a real chicken.
It's that color.
He didn't say a chicken-like substance, a chicken slurry. He said white meat chicken. So at least back then there was chicken in chicken nuggets.
That's what they say
now. So I mean, there it was. Not to get off the subject, but there was what appeared to be French fries and also what appeared to be a roll. I don't know where
were they given a roll back then.
Not that I know of. I've never seen a roll at McDonald's.
Maybe it was a test thing in Jersey only.
Maybe. You get McNuggets in a roll. Here you go. $2.99.
I don't know. The rolls go great with chicken, we're told. So try this.
Maybe somebody else had something. She grabbed her. Who the hell knows? Yeah. So based on all the evidence, this doctor estimated that the time of death was probably 4 or 5 hours after she'd eaten her last meal.
Okay.
So that's about 2 to 3 hours after she was picked up, basically. Now, and also internal examination, the doctor took swabbings of oral, vaginal, rectal swabbings, of course, and made 12 slides of the swabs. He examined 6 slides and sent the rest to the medical examiner's office in Newark. Sperm is found in the vaginal slides, which obviously indicated that she was sexually assaulted as well. Found no presence of sperm on the rectal slides, but said that he thinks that she was violated
something
that way,
else
but
back
yeah
there.
In some way, maybe there, but no sperm. So he concurred, another doctor concurred, that the finding of sperm in the vagina and estimated intercourse occurred very soon before that, so it was probably right before her death. It wasn't like the day before or something. He also, his examination, however, revealed that he did find sperm in the rectal slides as well.
Really?
Yes. So this is fucking horrible. The worst nightmare that you could expect,
tragedy.
that your high school kid's going to work at the mall and all this, and then that this is the worst that could possibly happen. When you tell them to be careful, you're telling them to be careful of this.
Yeah.
Not a fender bender. Be careful of someone abducting you in the parking lot and doing this shit to you. And when I explain how it happened too, it's not great. In the autopsy, he also said she bled to death, and the cause of bleeding was the wound to the chest. That was the main cause of death there. Then obviously check out start investigating this. This is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
This is all hands on deck.
Sure.
Newspapers every single day, they're covering this. What's going on, where, it's huge.
Sure.
Everybody's freaking out, locking their doors, shutting their gates, having alarm systems installed. It's one of those type of things here. So they talked to various people who'd been in the vicinity of the mall or the reservoir on that night, November 23rd. They talked to Ms. Horwath, like we said. They drew composites of the car and driver she saw in the parking lot there. So now on December 5th, 1982, because of the similarity of the vehicle and facial appearance to the Horwath composite, a patrol officer in Morris County, of the Morris County Park Police, stops James J. Based on this matching description.
Good.
Stops him, pulls him over. The notes of that officer reflect that he is 5'10.5" to 6 inches tall, with a beard and mustache. The composite sketch was of a blonde, curly-haired, possibly with facial hair, because the window wasn't down that far. She only saw the nose. The officer did not detain him, though, at the time.
Right.
Just took down information and I guess was like, well, I guess we know where to find you if we need you, type of thing. But does not detain him, even though he's pulled over based on that. Keep that date in mind, December 5th, 1982. Very, very, fucking very important that you remember December 5th, 82. During the day, he's pulled over and not detained at all. So other information here came out of persons who were in the vicinity of the reservoir. Police talked to Timothy O'Grady, who had been visiting his girlfriend's mother on Morris Turnpike, just drinking whiskey, I'm sure.
Just sitting there drunk as a skunk.
Timothy O'Grady, it is, near the reservoir on the night in question. O'Grady left about 10:15 to get home in time to phone his girlfriend, who was away at college. He turned onto Combs Hollow Road, bearing in the direction of the dirt access road to the reservoir. He said he noticed a pair of headlights by the access tanks near the reservoir. The lights were heading away from the tanks down the access road. He paused before a narrow bridge on Combs Hollow Road to let the car pass. The car had come down the access road by that time, so it's one of those where it's too narrow, so someone's got to stop. Someone's got to stop, basically. So the other car had 4 headlights mounted side to side with parking lights beneath, a graded grille, and the car was medium to light blue.
All right.
That's what he saw. Yeah.
Or a roadrunner.
Something.
Yeah.
O'Grady recalled the car's high beams were on. Once he reached home, O'Grady, who was a car buff here, he identified the car in a manual that he had, because he wanted to know what it was, because he liked cars, as a 1970 Chevrolet 2-door. Okay. That's what he had. So he knew that's the model.
The SS.
Yeah, well, but it's a shit box.
Oh,
it's
really?
not a nice one. It's 1982.
Oh.
It's a 1970, and he's got putty marks and shit on it. It's not a good one.
He's hit some trees a couple of times.
Yeah, it's one of those where someone, like 10 years later, will go, oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, this could have been so beautiful, or they'll restore it or something.
Yeah.
So he told police that there was only one person in the car, and that the operator that he saw was probably a male who might have had a mustache, but he doesn't think a beard, but he's not sure.
Okay.
So that's what he saw. They also interviewed Mrs. Mary Clark, who lived on Combs Hollow Road, and who heard about 12:45 what sounded like a small sports car go by the house slowly from the direction of the retention tanks. She didn't know whether the car had come from the access road to the tanks or how it happened, but the detective who interviewed her recounted that she told him she got out of bed when she heard the engine but saw no headlights, and that the vehicle went up the road, turned around, and came by her house again. She later said that she didn't remember telling the officer any of those things. So I don't know if this lady is senile or what, but I don't know.
She may or may not have heard and seen everything.
Yeah. So that's basically what they have to go on.
Okay.
Light blue car, that's about it. By the way, the football team won 47-0.
Wow.
So, there you go.
Honor.
Yeah, I guess so.
Incredible.
So, she'd been long knife or bayonet, Basically, what they think happened was she was grabbed, thrown into a trunk, and dragged out to this remote location.
Wow, driven all the way out there and pulled out of the trunk when they got there.
Pulled out of the trunk, and then he had 2 hours with her, probably.
Oh, my God.
So he was raped her, and I'm sure there was bruises, so beatings, smaller cuts. Probably, my theory, I don't know what their theory is, but my theory would be probably cut off the ear to try to make her more compliant.
That's
if she was not cooperating, as he would put it, he might have done that to try to say next. I don't know if that was for his own whatever weird thing he had, or if that was some sort of degrading. Obviously, it's a degrading thing, but I don't know if that was.
I think that's part of the control thing.
It absolutely is. So there's a lot of serial killers who have done that. They try. They have to they're making a mannequin almost of what they want. Also, they want to degrade a person.
Yeah.
They want to. Yeah, whoever this is fucked in the head, basically.
This is certainly about both, making them feel bad and him feel good.
Yeah, I think it's about all of it here. November 30th, 1982 is the funeral. More than 1,000 friends and relatives attend her funeral, so a lot of people there. So December 5th, 1982, remember that date?
Yeah.
That's the date in that afternoon early. James J. was pulled over, fitting the description of the car seen by Amy and the person seen near Amy, but is not detained and is let go. So, December 5th, let's talk about a young lady named Deirdre O'Brien, 25 years old. She's an artist. She's a graduated from Seton Hall University, where she majored in art history. So, being that she went to school for art history, she's a waitress. Obviously, there's not a lot of jobs in art history, but
any art degree,
it's tough. It's a tough go. It really is. So, but she lives in Mendham Township with her parents. They're pretty affluent, as we'll see. They're kind of they have like a family rents a cottage from them that's on their property. They're pretty affluent here.
How great would that be?
Right? Rent my cottage.
Yeah. I wish I knew somebody that had one of those when I was that age, and I could.
Right?
That would have been the greatest.
So, no, they own it, though. So she does that. And from what I understand, she's a pretty talented artist, too. She's pretty good. She lives in Mendham Township with her parents, James and Georgia O'Brien, and her brothers. She has a brother, James, and sisters, Erin and Maureen. So she's got a full family life here. She graduated from Mount St. John Academy of Gladstone and Seton Hall University and worked as a waitress at the library, which was about a mile away from the shopping mall where Amy Hoffman was employed. So they're kind of in that area, the two of them. And although unlike Amy, though, she O'Brien here this Saturday night of the 5th, she's not working. She's not working at all. She's still in the area of this. There anyway, but she's not
hang out sometimes.
She doesn't have maybe you can get a couple of free drinks if you're
a waitress at a bar that's popular,
go on an off night
and you know some people nearby.
The bartender's never going to charge an employee.
Never.
So what ends up happening is she's in this area, and then next thing you know, there's a rest stop on Route 80 in Alamucky, and two truck drivers before 4 a.m. end up being awoken by pounding on the door of his tractor trailer, this one truck driver, and he hears screaming that a woman's been stabbed.
Jesus.
So he gets out of the car and sees her standing there. It's Deirdre O'Brien, 25. She's been stabbed. She's bleeding. It's 4-something in the morning. Her car, a gray Honda Civic, was found abandoned about 1.5 miles from her home. Okay, this is on Washington Valley Road in Mendham Township. Now, this is, like we said, December 5th there. So they end up obviously investigating this a little bit further, because once they said she just appeared out of nowhere.
Good Lord.
The trucker reached a Lake Hopatcong base unit operator who called the Alamucky Green Township First Aid Squad.
That's an out of the fucking way.
Wow.
She's lucky to be alive.
At this point, yeah. In the meantime here, the driver administers whatever first aid he can to her to try to help her, covering her with his sleeping bag and attempting to keep her calm and everything, and whatever. She said she was cold. But they take her to the hospital where she dies.
Oh, no.
Of her stab wounds. So 2:10 a.m. was when somebody saw her car, by the way. That was when her car was first reported over there. And then she pops up at
4 a.m.
4 something. Yeah.
Jesus.
So this is the account of the death here, is that she was apparently, when they found the car, the headlights were on, the driver's door was open, keys in the ignition, no apparent signs of a struggle.
Wow.
No apparent signs of a struggle.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing, because,
how do you get that?
Well, I know people who could get someone to step out of a car with no signs of a struggle, and while leaving keys in the ignition and their headlights on. What happens to that when you get a ticket? Yeah, or someone thinks you do.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the results of the autopsy was that she stabbed several times in the chest. There was conflicting reports on sexual assault. Like with Amy, the newspapers said no sexual assault outright at first, to hold that piece of information, obviously, to know if someone was telling the truth, if they got a confession or something.
Strategy.
Here it's the same thing, but later on, her parents say she was raped in this. So I assume if her parents say so, then I'm going to believe them.
Yeah.
That they've probably seen some sort of report and would make that up.
A doctor somewhere has told them that.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, what ended up happening was she was forced off the road. They said there was some kind of, she described it like this. Basically, she was thrown in a trunk, stuffed into a trunk, driven 20 miles to the rest stop, where this guy stabbed her 4 times in the chest and threw her out of the car and left her for dead.
Wow.
So she was bleeding to death, and she managed to drag herself 100 feet to the cab of a tractor trailer. So this guy did this within 100 feet of at a rest stop. There's a bunch of trucks with people sleeping. He doesn't know if somebody's sitting up in there right at that point, had to take a leak or something.
It could be Gary Howard making a podcast.
That's what I mean.
There.
Who the hell knows what's going on in these trucks? Jason Fuller could be watching YouTube wrestling videos. We have no idea what's happening.
That's ballsy.
She banged on the truck's cab, like we said. He woke up. All that sort of shit. She described her attacker as well, so she did get a description out. She knew she was dying, and she said she knew she was dying and thanked the truck driver for helping her, which she was a nice person to the end there. She does succumb to her wounds. Her father has to identify her body.
Awful.
It's fucking horrible. So people had heard a trucker calling for help on a Citizens Band radio at about 2:45 a.m., which is weird. I don't know how that ended up, how that figured into
2:45 a.m.?
Which is way earlier than that. So she's forced off the road as she was driving. They think it was some kind of lights forced her off the road. They think, basically, they think that someone posed as a police officer with some kind of blue flashing light, forced her off the road, told her to step out of the car, grabbed her, threw her in the trunk, took her to a remote location, raped, stabbed, and then dumped her at a rest stop where, unbelievably for her, she's still alive enough to be able to drag herself to give a description and a thank you. This poor Deirdre O'Brien. So here are pictures of the ladies, Jimmy, by the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, they're both
adorable.
And they're both
They're both
dark
what?
hair.
Yeah.
They both have like a similar.
They have a similar.
Obviously, one's Asian, very clearly Asian, and one isn't.
But they have a very similar face about them.
Similar,
structure,
color, dark hair, that sort of thing. So. Yeah, it's they're both. Deirdre's a couple inches taller, but outside of that, she's described as an attractive girl with dark hair, that sort of thing. One family who rented a cottage from her family on their property said that she was very nice. She said, quote, "The children were so delightful. They were always so good to our family." She said that Deirdre was so nice. A friend of Deirdre's boyfriend said he thought the couple were planning on getting engaged soon. He said Deirdre had returned home recently after she left a previous job outside the state, and that the boyfriend was ready to pop the question. Finally, after a long relationship, one of the teachers she had in high school said, "I don't believe what happened." This is Sister Lucille, the former principal at the all-girls private school she went to.
Damn it.
She said, "I just can't believe this happened. It seems like a repeat performance of the Parsippany girls' murder," meaning Amy Hoffman. She's connecting them. She said that everyone at the school is frightened by the latest murder.
This feels like a bad sequel.
It feels bad. So Deirdre, by the way, that was December 5th.
Yeah.
That happened at night.
Right.
Weird.
Somebody just talked to the cops.
Yeah. So Deirdre worked at the store about a year ago. This is a restaurant where she was she worked in the office in this restaurant, and then she was a waitress somewhere else.
Okay.
So that's how she did that. Coworkers described her as very likable, personable, good employee. Her boss said she was just a very good employee and a good waitress. She had no enemies whatsoever, and everyone here liked her. She usually went straight home after work. Neighbors said she comes from a peaceful, affluent setting. There's horses roaming in backyards.
Jesus.
Doors go unlocked up till now. It's just a, affluent, beautiful area. They said she's described as an excellent student in school, member of the art and literary clubs, on the yearbook staff. Sister Lucille said, quote, she was the ideal girl. She came from a family where Christian values and moral values are stressed.
Oh.
So, yeah. So the two killings, could they be related, maybe? Nah, right? This is right from the paper, the newspaper at the time. This is the Daily Record. Despite the striking similarities between the circumstances surrounding the murder of O'Brien and that of 18-year-old Amy Hoffman of Parsippany, the state police are making no connections between them, quote, at this time.
Based on the similarities of how they were taken and how they were found, how it was all wrapped together. We think no connection at this time.
How could that be connected?
How could they do it?
They said, according to Jesus Christ,
no connection.
And they said, yes, because a reporter said, well, they were both young women. Dark hair, abducted from cars at night, keys still in the ignition, no sign of robbery, purse still on the scene, no signs of a struggle.
Raped and dead.
Yeah, although it had appeared that Deirdre's car had been forced off the road as it was turned sharply onto a shoulder. Mm-hmm. That was the only thing there. And both women were killed by severe stab wounds from the chest. Yeah. At this point, the paper says, quote, neither was sexually molested, which isn't true. They both were. Yeah. But they just didn't have a suspect yet. So they're like, despite all that, we don't know. Mm-hmm. We're not positive.
Apart from the fact it's identical minus where the car is.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
it. So
Christ.
They repeatedly said they're being investigated with both concepts in mind, that both women were murdered by the same man and that there might be two murderers. They don't know which. So they're investigating it equally on both sides.
Just as an outsider looking in, it looks like he's perfecting murdering. That the other girl, he got her in a parking lot, maybe I was seen.
Exactly.
If I get her out on the open road and just push her off the road,
better.
Less witnesses.
Way less witnesses. It's totally dark out here.
I guarantee his thought.
And if he got pulled over that day, what do you think he did when the cop turned his light on? He pulled over and he thought, oh,
genius.
How could I get a girl to pull over? Fucking A, that guy pulled me over. I pulled right over. I would have done whatever he asked me to.
I just did it.
God damn it. I bet a young woman would really be compliant with a police officer, unlike an ex-convict murderer like myself. So think about how the psychology there. The police are so baffled and under so much pressure, they bring a psychic in at one point.
Get out of here.
Bring a psychic in. One guy who's working not as the strategy, but a guy who's they have everybody on this case. So one of the guys working around the edges of it, a guy named Captain Jim Moore, contacted a local psychic named Nancy Weber, who he knew already.
Yeah.
So,
his wife's psychic.
Yeah. Hey, come on over here, honey. Another detective, Bill Hughes, was brought in on this as well. Weber told the police officers details about Hoffman's death that they didn't even know yet.
What?
That was in reports that they hadn't read. After a few initial meetings, they drove together to the crime scene, and Weber gave the police information about Hoffman's killer, telling them, quote, the man who did this, his first name may be James, something with a J.
What?
His last name is Polish, multiple syllables beginning with a K, ending with an ish, maybe.
What the fuck?
Yeah. She said he came up from the south where he had been in prison before. He used to live in this area.
Oh, I'm creeped out.
It's creepy.
How did this person do this?
She was not able to give specific areas where he lived, but she generalized stuff. She said she couldn't give us an exact address, but knew he had lived in Wharton, New Jersey, which he had. She couldn't give us specific information on an address, but she knew that he had been arrested in Mount Olive Township, which he had. Coincidentally, she came up with the information as they were driving by the very spot he was arrested.
Wow.
Because they knew where he was arrested, and they went, actually, he was arrested right fucking there where we just passed.
Also, arrest her. She knows too much.
She knows too much. She killed these girls. She obviously killed these girls. This was Mount Olive on Route 206 had a roller rink. This is the cop. We were driving by the roller rink coming up on 206, and she got a feeling. She said he's been arrested here before in Mount Olive Township a long while ago, a while back. And that was right when they were passing the spot he was arrested as a teenager.
That is unbelievable.
That's fucking creepy. Now, there's a couple discrepancies later on where the cops will be like, she actually said this and that, but it's pretty close to this. If we have time, we'll get into that.
If she said anything near that, yes, I'm blown away.
That's what I mean. There's a thing trying to, debunk the whole thing, which, I'm not real into psychics either, but saying, like, really parsing the details of what she's saying, what the cop said she said, it's still really freaky. It's fucking freaky.
Saying he's from down south and got arrested down there
for murder.
That's enough.
For murder
Done.
Down there. Yeah.
It's a wrap. I believe anything she says.
That's what and then the very part she came that they passed by.
Yeah.
So December 8th, 1982, there's a report of another abduction.
Mm-hmm.
And let me show you a map here. Amy Hoffman here. Deirdre O'Brien
over
here.
there.
And this latest one is directly
right in between them.
Right in between them at Hanover Avenue.
God damn it.
So that's what they're thinking. They say police responded to the report of an abduction. A woman was reportedly witnessed being wrestled by a white male with brown hair wearing a brown coat into a brown Ford Pinto. It's just all brown in a secluded Morris Plains street. According to the reports, a bystander approached the woman and her assailant, at which point the assailant pulled a knife. Police later reported that their radio that both the bystander and the woman were missing. But this turns out to be a hoax. Yeah. The whole thing turns out to be a hoax. There's all these rumors. People are freaking the fuck out now. It's like, because it's they said it's a woman being wrestled away and all this sort of thing.
It was a fake news story?
Somebody just made it up.
Cocksucker.
Somebody made it up. And
why would you do that?
To cause the same reason you'd put road flares on balloons to make people think there's a UFO.
If you plan on doing that, slam your fucking head in a refrigerator door and call it a day.
Slam your nutsack in a refrigerator door. Never mind your head. You'll be more distracted by your nutsack pain and have no time for this fuckery.
Blow out the pilot light and slam your head in your oven.
There you go. That's
Please
a perfect one.
You're a fucking asshole.
There you go. And then you're cock when you're done.
I hate you.
So the police chief here said, quote, "I assume if there were another murder committed, I would be notified. I have no such information. So if anyone would know, it's me. So I think it's fucking false." Mm-hmm. They said, despite what observers believe are remarkable similarities, they say they're still not positive that Deirdre and Amy were killed by the same person. Now, around this area, there were other killings too. Mm-hmm. October 1st. This one is before he was even out of jail. Christopher Thomas, who was 16 years old, was shot while walking into the Rockaway Town Square Mall. Police are looking for a white male about 5'9" with dark shoulder-length hair, possibly a wig and a mustache, which sort of fits his description, Kinda. But he's not out of jail yet.
And he's also not killing dudes.
No, and he's not out of jail. And then there's another one, though. Well, you don't know what his pattern is, though. This is October 21st. Mm-hmm. This is 3 days after he's home in Morristown. James R. Wesco, 34, was stabbed in the early morning at the Madison train station. Police recovered a blood-stained fish filleting knife 300 yards from the station. Jeez. No suspect has ever been found for that.
My.
So who knows? At this point, people start putting up rewards. The Daily Record gives $1,000 to the Amy Memorial Fund. The donation raises the fund to about $3,000. The family's very thankful, and basically they were asking the parents, do you not like this area now because your kid got killed? And they were saying how no, they're so happy that people are so nice to them, and their people are caring. December 23rd, there's $21,000 in rewards from the friends of the O'Brien family for Deirdre's recovery or whatever. Donations from 3 local residents here. It was originally $10,000, and then they brought it up to $20,000, and then somebody else put $1,000. And the lawyer said, "We don't know how much it will take to elicit the kind of information needed for an arrest or conviction, but we intend to continue our efforts to increase the reward fund." You shouldn't need a reward. No. To get a murdering,
if you know that,
stalking, woman killing rapist off the streets,
if you
should want
that dude
person
does that.
Done.
You should willingly just do that without money.
I would say
absolutely.
And the Surprise store at the Morris County Mall also posted a $5,000 reward for Amy's,
whoever shit up the toilet.
Whoever shit up the toilet. And if they also find out who killed Amy and they shit up the toilet, it's $10,000. So obviously fear is just This place has exploded with fear.
It's saturated.
They said the stores found that women were not doing Christmas shopping at night anymore, not by themselves. Yeah. Husbands were calling home from work 4 times a day for if they had housewives to make sure their wives were still alive. Women had candlelight marches through Morris County to show concern over the attacks.
Wow.
And, I mean, this was no shit. The Morris County Mall, a chapter of the Guardian Angels came down.
Awesome.
To walk people to their fucking douchebag. I can't. No.
Is it Curtis? What's his name?
I don't.
Sliwa?
Yeah.
Is it Sliwa?
I can't with those people. I can't. I just fucking can't. I get it. There was some good and some bad, but the second you're putting on some crazy outfit and going on TV, and you've ended it for me.
When you're going on
point.
Donahue about it, you're an asshole.
Yeah, you should have just said, "Nope, we're doing our job out here." Then I would have said, "No, they're trying."
Yeah,
but they were also there was a lot of questionable.
It was all about them, and they were criminals too, right?
There was some questionable stuff going on. I want to get
some
to the
bad
Guardian
behavior
Angels,
in that shit.
Anyway, they were walking people to their cars.
That's nice.
Basically, they brought like a lot of big guys down there. They said
baseball bats and shit.
Big giant dudes walking women to their cars here. They said there was about 10 members in the group that operated from about 6 to 9 p.m.
Yeah,
and then maybe if there was a few employees too. So January 5th, 1983. A 28-year-old woman named Judy Brown, a telephone company employee, is shotgunned to death in this area as well.
Sweet Jesus.
Hanover Township. Yeah. She's shotgunned to death, and they're wondering, is this related?
Oh my God.
I don't know. It's similar, but it's not a knife. But I mean, maybe you'd switch it up if you did that.
I'd talk to the husband about that one.
Yeah, that's possibly. I'd see if check the life insurance policy.
And where's he been?
January 18th, 1983. So this is almost 2 months after Amy disappeared, a month and a half after Deirdre's gone.
Yeah.
James Kotetech here. JJ. At 11:20 a.m. or 11:20 p.m. that day, January the 16th, 1983, Patrolman Kevin Dormer responds to a call from 44 Harrison Street in Morristown. He enters the house. He sees JJ leaning against the kitchen table with his T-shirt rolled up, and Julia Baldwin, who's his mother, was washing a wound on his back. Now, JJ told police he'd been driving home on Route 24 when he'd been pulled over by a car with a flashing blue light, and he said that the driver of the car had stabbed him, and then he got away.
What?
Yes. He's taken by ambulance to the hospital. Another sergeant also comes to the car. He instructs police officers at the scene to secure JJ's clothing and car just in case, as possible evidence leading to the arrest of his assailant, too. I mean, maybe he left a fingerprint on the car. Who knows? He could have touched the door.
Absolutely.
We don't know. Hair could have fallen off, something. So due to the similarities in the alleged attack on him, and the similarities between that and the Hoffman and O'Brien abductions, the detective here, who's also investigating the O'Brien murder, gets called into the police garage to supervise collection of evidence related to this stabbing. Okay, so he inspects JJ's car. He realizes that the tread pattern is not only similar but identical to the one made at the impression of the scene of Deirdre O'Brien's abduction.
Uh-oh.
Identical, and a comparison of the tire tread with the sketch and a photograph confirmed it to be perfect.
Uh-oh.
So he was right. He just had a good eye for it. So they notify the prosecutor's office and the state police that we might have something weird here. Search warrant is obtained for the 1970 Chevrolet. They remove a tire, take it to the lab for extraction of possible fiber evidence or anything like that. The seat cover is removed and the interior is vacuumed. Lab personnel also removed samples of the car's carpet. The seat cover and the carpet were taken to the FBI lab in Washington, D.C. for analysis.
Yeah.
Now, he insists that he was pulled off the road by a car with flashing blue lights, and they said, well, where did this happen? And he pointed out the exact spot where Deirdre O'Brien had been pushed off the road. So he's trying, that's what he's saying. So he's like,
trying to build it like the similarities, but he doesn't realize that he's putting himself at scenes.
They weren't even looking for him, dude.
Yeah.
They weren't even looking at him. That's how it's eating him up.
My.
He says that he's forced off the road, stabbed in the back by a man who got out of the car that was following him. They said when they spoke to him, he was very calm, unlike a man who had just been pulled off the road and attacked by a stranger with a knife.
Stabbed
in the back. A pathologist who's an expert in stab wounds examined the tears in his clothing and the wounds and found that he had stabbed himself.
Yeah, he
stabbed himself in the back. And after that, he said they checked his car for evidence and all this sort of shit. Tests show that fibers found on Miss Hoffman's clothes were identical to the fibers found in the carpet of the car and the seat covers. Bits of foam rubber found on her boots were identical to the foam rubber from the backing of the seat in his car.
Holy shit.
Like the back of his back seat from the trunk.
Yeah.
She was kicking it. So, so he's arrested only for Deirdre's murder right now.
Yeah.
Arrested for Deirdre's murder. This is ridiculous, though. He did it right there.
Oh,
like, how obvious can you fucking be, you dumb shit? That's just so stupid. They said that the police thanked everybody for their witnesses and all that sort of shit.
Thank
but
you
really,
all. We thank the murderer for giving us all the information.
He literally called us to his house to come get him. Like, how stupid is that?
Holy shit.
Took 12 hours of talking to him before they ended up arresting him. He does not confess, though.
No.
There's no confession out of him. They said that they checked the scene, the vehicle, and that's how they found it, what they're doing here. They described him as a, quote, native of Morris County, and they said he's remanded on a $250,000 bail, which it should be, I would assume.
250 bazillion.
Yeah, I mean, however much you want to put. Now, there's witnesses here. Mm-hmm. Mrs. Helen Cato, she says that in mid-November in 1982, she stopped at the Morris County Mall at about 3 o'clock to do some shopping. She remembered it was a Monday because she visited the friend that she visited each day every Monday. Mm-hmm. So she said it was a sunny day. She parked her car and was smoking a cigarette and listening to the radio in the parking lot. When she just hanging in the mall parking lot, smoking a cigarette in the car.
I've done it.
Wow. I lived it as a teenager. She said that she heard a loud voice at that point. She saw a man and a young woman walking from the mall toward her vehicle. She recognized the young woman as Amy Hoffman, a cashier at the surprise store, because she'd been in there. The man, she says, was Jimmie J here, who was in the room with Mrs. Cato here later on when she says this. She described him as, quote, had a, quote, face like a hawk, was wearing blue and white sneakers, blue jeans, and a denim jacket. She said he looked familiar. She later realized that when he was a young man, he had been to her house with her teenage daughter in the mid-1960s.
Jesus.
She said as they approached the car, Mrs. Cato heard him say loudly, come here, goddammit. I said, come here, I'll kill you, at Amy. So she said the woman was unresponsive, Amy, at first, but became flustered and dropped the book she was carrying. She had her books with her. She picked them up, stumbled, and jogged away from the man. And that's all. She didn't think to go fucking follow that. I'd have ran that fucking guy over. If I'm in my car and he's chasing her on foot, I am running that guy over. I'm literally going to get behind him, beep, and go, I'm going to run you over if you don't stop chasing that woman. I swear to fuck, dude, I'm going to hit the gas. You're going over my windshield unless you stop.
This is why I carry guns, James.
You better stop and explain yourself. What, are you going to shoot the guy? Then you're going to prison. He hasn't done anything.
I'm not going to shoot him right away.
Anything you do with a gun, you're going to jail for, Jimmy.
I'll go to jail for it. If I saved the woman's life.
But what if you didn't? What if you didn't?
Then I had
what
fun.
If they were playing around? You're in prison. Never good
then
to
I
shoot
had a
people.
Fun day.
You know what you should do? You should call the police.
Run him over. You're going to jail too.
Who you get paid? No, I threatened to run him over. Oh. Hey, beep, beep. I'm going to run you over, dude. I feel like that would be like, oh, maybe I'll stop then. I don't know. You can't shoot
bet he
people,
doesn't.
though. You're less likely to go to jail for threatening someone with your car than a gun.
I'll bet both.
No.
But not for the length
of
time.
One is only a weapon. One is you really have to want it to be. Put it that way. So now Amy's friend, Christine Gonzalez, she said she was the one that was with her. She said before that, she said that she didn't approach the police till after initially because she had never seen pictures of James J. She said that while all this was going on, she suddenly realized that she recognized him as a man she'd seen many times at the mall.
Yeah.
James J. She said that 4 times in September and October, she'd noticed a man with a very long face, high cheekbones, brownish hair, and 1 or 2 days growth of beard standing outside the station there, and that she that was him, basically. So she's been hanging out looking at her, basically, is what she's saying.
So the lady that saw this all happen, she just
saw him in the mall wandering around.
And
so
she was like, that was weird. And
yeah,
just kept going.
There's a lot of weirdos that hang around a mall.
Suppose.
That's not the one in the parking lot.
Okay.
The lady in the parking lot.
That's my point. Like,
I'll kill you. Like, all right, now get involved.
Well, that was a weird night.
Yeah.
I got to get the hell out of here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So then there's a woman named Diana Bassard. She says that she stopped in the mall in mid-October 82, stopped at the mall to do some clothes shopping. Once in the mall, she looked for clothes in Bradley's, the Fashion Bug, and the Surprise store as well, where Amy works. After she entered the Surprise store at 8:45, she walked to the back of the store and saw, her words, not mine, quote, a young Oriental girl with long hair being talked to in a loud voice by an unkempt, older-looking man.
What the fuck?
Many people seeing this. The man, who was tall and thin, had dirty blonde, brownish hair, a thin face with high cheekbones, several days' worth of growth of beard, was speaking in a loud voice about dirt bikes. I'm going to go to the mall and yell at the chick who works at the clothes store about dirt bikes.
I'm going to go try to impress the young girl.
What the?
I'll ride a motorbike.
What are you talking about?
Got it in the woods. You want to see it?
It's a 2-stroke. Okay.
It's so loud. It smells great when it's running.
I don't understand it.
Jesus.
It's not funny, but it's fucking ridiculous.
What kind of...
She said that the girl was not taking part in the conversation.
She wasn't impressed.
Basically, like, he's like the crazy guy who comes in the mall and yells at people, and everybody knows to just ignore him and he'll go away. That's kind of what it seems like awful. He is. After several minutes in the store, this woman said she left without purchasing anything. And later on, when she saw a picture, she identified the girl as Amy Hoffman and the man as, of course, Jimmie J here.
Oh, my.
Now, items seized as well during the search warrant at his house. First is a photo album Jimmie J had on his nightstand. The last 5 pages consisted of pictures of, quote, Oriental-looking women.
Wow.
That's it. Different ones, just pictures of them. Yeah, next to his bed on his nightstand. The second item was a letter addressed to him from Japan International, and enclosed were 3 more pictures of Asian women.
What?
So he's ordering away for pictures of Asian women.
Good Lord.
Yeah. The state's theory here is that this demonstrates his interest in Asian women and explained to everybody here why he pursued Amy Hoffman over other women. Amy, of course, who was obviously Asian. They ended up, the court, though, will not let that in at trial. They exclude that as no facts to support the contention that he wanted to have sex with her or to abduct her because he was sexually attracted specifically to Asian females.
Okay.
Which,
what more do you need?
He did rape her, so I would say that means that's why he picked her up.
Right.
You know.
Do you need lotion and a pile of tissues next to the fucking book? What do you want?
That's what I'm saying. He obviously whacks it to Asian chicks.
He loves it.
She's
it's
an
next
Asian
to
chick.
The nightstand.
He raped her and killed her. It's pretty
how
clear.
He puts himself to bed.
Here he is, by the way, Jimmy. Would you like to see a picture of the devil?
No.
There he is.
Yeah.
So,
he's got like one of those awful beards.
Awful beards and a bad face.
Yeah.
He's just a bad-looking guy.
The beard looks like pubic hair. It's so
It does.
bad.
It's a terrible beard. It's all weak in the cheek.
Yeah.
No good.
Weak in the cheek.
Weak in the cheek. He can connect it on the side of his mouth, but his cheeks are weak.
And the chin's even spaced apart.
It is.
It's not good.
You can't have weak cheek beard.
No.
You have to. Your cheeks have to be full. You can get away with some shit in the middle, but your cheeks got to be full.
He looks like Shane from Love After Lockup.
He looks exactly. That beard is exactly like Shane. If you shaved it down, look at his face.
The rectangle goatee.
And he's losing his hair the same way. By the way, that poor Shane on Love After Lockup. He is 22.
Oh my.
When he's 25, he's going to have no hair.
Yeah.
None.
He's got, at best, 2 years.
And you see, like, he's got big horseshoes. And I'm like, whoa. And it's all thin,
he tried to pull a mohawk.
It's real thin in the places where it is there, too. It's just overall thinner. I'm like, whoa,
it's not
dude.
good.
You are in for
not good at all.
Bad stuff.
And he wanted to have 3 kids with this woman?
Bad
He'd be
stuff.
bald by the time he's 22 and a half.
Oh, God, yeah. He's like, maybe 3 kids. She won't leave me when I'm so bald later.
6 months into this pregnancy, you're going to have no hair.
None. So the trial comes in October 84.
Yeah.
Now, he's arrested for Deirdre's murder first, but then they charge him with Amy's. The trial is Amy's trial first.
Okay.
Trial for Amy. Now, they lay out, the first part is microscopic evidence. Obviously, they say that after he was quote unquote attacked.
Right.
They checked his car. They did tests. They found the fibers I told you about, foam rubber on the boots, to the backing of the seat, everything like that. Second part was testimony from eyewitnesses who saw him and saw a car that looked like his near places where Miss Hoffman had been seen all the time. They think he was stalking her, possibly.
He's a predator.
Yeah. At the end of the case, the prosecutor says, when all the evidence is in, I will ask you to find this man guilty of murder. His lawyer, though, says there's more to the story than they're putting forth. This whole case is based on innuendo. It's based on inconclusive evidence, he says. So Harold A. Dedman of Washington, he's the FBI forensic specialist on fiber comparisons.
Yeah.
He testifies here to show so inconclusive that fibers from the car were similar to some found on her skirt. Another expert from the defense said the fibers were too common to be sure whether they came from the car or not,
because it's Chevrolet carpet.
Now there is trial transcripts here that I have of, like, I can tell you they said, like, this particular skirt company puts out 400,000 yards of this particular fabric, which regions they go to, what to the odds of what dude, we could go on for 3 hours on the
odds of that fiber being in his trunk are so slim.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're just saying the fiber's common, so it might not have come from the skirt, could have come from anywhere, but why is it in there anyway? So we could do like a 2-hour bonus episode on just the trial, the forensics, and fiber evidence. I'm not even shitting you. If anyone was interested, we'd do it, but we're not, so we'll get through the story.
Okay.
So the defense here, this is their arguments. Number one, that he doesn't match the description given by witnesses, as he was not blonde and had a beard and mustache. He had too. Okay. They said one state witness was simply mistaken and had overreacted, perhaps subconsciously, to the publicity surrounding the case. So later on, they realized a false recollection. That night, he said he had an alibi. He'd been home playing Atari games with his little brother. Mm-hmm. So lock, stock, and barrel alibi there. You're in. And number 4, that fiber and foam correlations prove nothing. And that number 5, convincing evidence existed that the murder had been committed by another, namely Kevin Sheehan, an assistant football coach at the high school that Amy attended.
Oh.
We'll get to that in a second here. So they have to fight to try to get that evidence in. They want to introduce that alternate suspect, but the judge will not allow it because it's testimony about this guy, Kevin Sheehan, saying that Carol Speak, a friend of Amy's, said that she knew Sheehan and that he had made obscene phone calls to a payphone near the cheerleaders' locker room. That's what it was.
Gross.
She recalled answering the phone on several occasions. On each occasion, the male voice asked for Ms. Beth Thomas, a fellow cheerleader. On none of the occasions did the male caller ask for Ms. Speak or Amy. Okay. Ms. Speak testified that she never actually heard the caller utter obscenities over the phone. She also said that she did not associate the man's voice with anyone and that she did not recognize the voice as the voice of the football coach. Okay. So she said that she had known Mr. Sheehan since the time he began working at the school as a coach. She said, however, that she never saw him observing her or Amy. She also said that she did not become aware of Mr. Sheehan, that he was the person responsible for the phone calls until after Amy had died. So they also said that's inadmissible and hearsay and doesn't help any. So they said there's no causal connection or link between the fact that she took 2 calls in a telephone booth outside the cheerleaders' locker room and the death of Amy Hoffman, or her apprehension or kidnapping or anything of that nature. So
a man called for somebody else
a few times. Yeah, it's got to be that. He must have killed her and another woman too.
That has nothing to do with the school.
Nothing to do with anything. So she also said, the Speak said that Amy lived alone for a little while, for about a month, while her parents were setting up, because her parents ended up moving down to Virginia. Yeah. So they were like setting up the move. So she was alone for about a month, and that she held at least 2 large unsupervised parties that fall as well.
She threw a couple ragers?
Oh, boy.
Could have been anybody.
So this asshole attorney, this defense attorney, argued that he wanted to show, quote, that the party lifestyle made Amy Hoffman a murder target.
Okay.
Yeah, because she had a high school party. That means she's going to be kidnapped from a mall, stuffed in a trunk, stabbed, raped, and thrown in over a retention wall into a
That's a reach.
That's a little bit of a reach.
Oh, boy.
Come on, man. That's insane. Quote, he might as well have said, she had a skirt on. I mean, Christ, what do people want? She's an Asian with a skirt. How's anyone going to resist it? You know what I'm
I
saying?
heard she had purple panties. You know how hot that is?
Cowboy boots and everything. You know how that is. Like, what an asshole.
Fucking
jerk, man. Right now, this is what he says.
She had beer with kids.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you, James.
No, I don't buy it. This is what his lawyer says in open court. In court. In
front of people.
To people.
Yeah.
Other people who've been to law school, too.
He said words to them.
Wow. Quote, well, reporters, write it down.
Yeah.
Quote, right now, before the jury, I have a wholesome cheerleader who's the victim of a crime. I want to show she's like any other teenager. She's going to buy beer and she could have an affair with a football coach.
Holy shit.
No fucking indication of any affair with any football coach.
Wait a minute. Did he just say that all high school girls fuck the football coach?
Just like any other girl, she's going to buy beer. She might have had an affair with the football coach. Basically, he just said, just like any teenage girl,
right.
She's asking for it, and it happens.
She's a drunk, loose woman.
We got to show her.
That's
it. I mean, she was 2 seconds away from just walking the streets, selling her ass. I mean, what do you want? We think she might have had a crack habit. We're just saying. We don't know. She was freebasing all over what an asshole this guy is.
I mean, this is
you have to.
You feel bad for a defense attorney in this case because they're saddled with something that's fucked.
What do you do besides go?
But throw your humanity out the window? How do you do that?
That's just.
How do you just trash a poor girl?
Yeah, and if that's the approach your client wants you to take, you go, no
I can't do
not
that.
What you do in front of a jury.
Be disbarred.
There's going to be plus. There's people. You just don't do that. You wouldn't say. I could never say that in front of a room full of people.
No.
I would feel disgusting. I'd go.
Have a mother.
Disregard what I just said. Can we strike that, Judge? Can you tell them to strike it? I know I'm not allowed to.
I know I can't. I'm not allowed to strike that. I also am not allowed at Thanksgiving dinner now because my mother's going to disown me.
No shit. Jesus.
For what I just said.
So Florence Hoffman had to testify. Mom,
Christ.
She had to testify, crying through the whole thing. Poor woman, talking about how she had talked to her the day before a lot because she stayed home from school and all that sort of thing. She was breaking down repeatedly on the witness stand. James, JJ here, was basically staring right at her through her whole testimony, burning holes through her. While she wouldn't make eye contact with him because she's a nice woman. She testified and everything, to what happened, what I described before. Now, there's another thing that he wants to be introduced, James J., into court. That is a call from a quote-unquote, I'm using air quotes, psychiatrist that came into the police station. Listen to how ridiculous this is. This is a month before he's arrested, by the way. The defense seeks to introduce the testimony of a Lieutenant Raymond DiBiase of the Morristown Police Department, who received a phone call on December 14th, 1982, from what he called a quote, self-professed psychiatrist, who said that he had a patient, a construction worker, who might have committed the murder and that his patient had been attracted to, quote, Oriental women who had continually rebuked him. So they said this obviously raises the possibility that this was another guy there. So the judge goes, it could also have been him calling the fucking cops because he called the cops trying to throw them off for the other thing.
Excellent point.
So why would this be real?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all, he put that out. Nothing happened. So he's like, okay, what do I do now? Why would you do that? What a jackass. Also, his stepbrother, there's a bunch of there is witnesses. They call like 10 different witnesses for days talking about whether he had a beard or not. Literally, his mother saying he had 2 days worth of growth on this day, but then on Thanksgiving he had no beard, or he had a beard. And then they say he had no beard, so how could he have grown a beard in 3 days? Like, they go back and forth on the beard like crazy. Whereas that's something that someone could see a few great days of growth as more of a beard or less of a beard.
It depends. That's an arbitrary thing.
In the dark, too, or quickly. Sometimes you trim it. I mean,
one could say you have a beard right now. It's just stubble, but that's definitely a beard.
Yeah,
you could start of one.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, I've got 2 weeks worth on my face at the moment.
Beard.
It's a lot of beard.
Yeah, but if someone said big, long beard, you'd go, well, he had a short beard.
Right.
But I could say it's a long beard.
Yeah.
For me, it's a long, so who knows?
Depends on what long is.
Imagine that in court for 3 days.
Fuck.
With multiple people. That's why we're not going over it.
And you got to be a juror sitting on that.
Fucking painful.
I get it. There was hair on his face.
Oh, my God. So this is David Paul Baldwin. It's his stepbrother. He goes to high school and lives at home. He said that Said JJ and him, they said that he had a beard that fall, and on the night in question, he was upstairs at home playing Atari most of the evening, at least until 9 o'clock, which doesn't matter because the fucking abduction happened at 9:45. Right. So if he'd played, he could play Atari till 9 and then go out and, act out his asteroids fantasy. I have no idea.
Whatever it is.
Finally, though, he also testified that the sneakers seized in the search of the house associated with him by a witness were actually a Christmas gift to him in December, so they couldn't have been that. So mistaken shoes.
Yeah.
Verdict comes in. Jury deliberates for 11 hours here, and they're charged. They retire at 11:20 a.m. While deliberating, they request testimony of a bunch of people: Diana Bassard, Christine Gonzalez, Helen Cato, Timothy O'Grady, all those witnesses, basically. They also requested the testimony of Florence Hoffman regarding Amy's whereabouts, blah, blah, blah. They come back after those hours and find him guilty on all counts. Murder, kidnapping, aggravated sexual assault, unlawful possession of a weapon with intent to kill, a whole deal. Sentencing comes around here. The aggravating factors are going for the death penalty on him. Lethal injection all the way. One, that the defendant had been previously convicted of murder, that he had, which was second-degree murder in Florida, that the murder was committed while he was engaged in the commission of flight or the commission of a sexual assault or kidnapping, which he was, and that the murder was committed for the purpose of escaping detection, and that the murder was outrageously and wantonly vile. If any murder is outrageously and wantonly vile, I'd put these two up there.
Those are them.
Right at the top of the list. Of basically anything that you could do to someone over 18, this is as bad as it gets. Yeah. The only way to go worse would be to be younger. That'd be the only way, or a lot older. One of the two.
Or do it longer.
Yeah, longer, or have the person be 85 or 7.
Yeah.
One of those two. That'd be the only way it would be worse, and even that's obviously subjective. So the jury here, it's the same jury, by the way, 4.5 hours of discussion on that. And they say, let's see here, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you, sir.
Hell yeah.
Death penalty plus a 30-year prison term with a 15-year period of parole ineligibility on the kidnapping count, and a concurrent 20-year term with 10 years of parole ineligibility for aggravated sexual assault. The sentence is to run consecutively to the sentence for murder should the death penalty be overturned.
Got it.
So if it's overturned and he gets life, he's got another 25 years
and then
before any possibility of parole on top of whatever his murder sentence would be. So even if they say the murder, they just washed the whole sentence off, he's still got 25 years with no parole.
Good.
So it's a good deal here. Also, he has to pay levied a fine of $1,050 to payable to the Violent Crimes Compensation Board. His brother here, JJ's brother, Jeff, said, quote, "I'm very surprised with the verdict."
Are you?
Are you really? He said that his brother definitely had a beard at the time of the murder, and that the sperm and pubic hair found on the victim do not match those of his brother, even though every science that we've looked at says they do. But there's no DNA.
Yeah.
So they're matching types. This is all very...
It's black and curly. Could be anybody.
Could be literally. Yeah. And it matches his, his characteristics is what they would do. April 85 trial for Deidre here, and I don't mean to cut her short, but it's a lot of the same thing. They testify evidence through the murder, tire tracks, paint chips, traces of fibers, all this same sort of shit, basically. Very familiar to the first trial. They have the truck drivers testify. The defense says the fact that there's no blood in the defendant's car creates reasonable doubt, which not really, because he grabbed them.
The accusation is the murder after they're out of the car.
And then pulled them out of the car and murdered them. That's exactly what happened. He said, quote, "I don't know why Deidre O'Brien was murdered. I'm just getting it out in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, that these facts exist." What facts are those? The fact that he's trying to say Deidre O'Brien was into cocaine and someone would have killed her for that. He said that the woman was carrying 2 vials containing traces of cocaine and a spoon used to sniff cocaine. And he wanted that admitted into court. And they were like, for what?
Spoon to sniff cocaine?
The little.
Is that what you do? Oh, the little guy. Yeah, the little guy.
Used to have a little glass jar. That's early 80s style.
I thought he was talking like a fucking dessert spoon.
No, he had like a tablespoon.
She's really getting it.
Eating a bowl of Fruit Loops. She's getting into it hard. So, they said that the lawyer says the defendant definitely did not kill this girl. God forbid. There's no incriminating evidence, although he knew exactly where she was pulled over when he was faked the exact same thing that happened to her. It's so...
That's kind of a big deal.
Big deal here. That's as good as circumstantial evidence as I'm going to get. There is no way... The chances of him
picking out exactly
just for shits and giggles are 0.000. The psychic wasn't even that close.
Right.
You know what I mean? The prosecutor says everything points to this idiot over here. He might as well have a sign saying, "I murdered Deirdre O'Brien," because that's what it points to. He might as well have a sign
over his head
saying, "I murdered her." Verdict comes in. Fucking guilty.
Yeah.
Just so guilty.
Absolutely.
They just want to kick him in the balls. They find him guilty, but they cannot agree unanimously on the death penalty.
Really?
So he draws, "You, sir, may fuck off. Life imprisonment with no chance of parole for 30 years.
Okay.
So that is 55 years so far. And a death penalty with no... So he's stacking it pretty good.
He's really making a mountain for himself. He's not climbing out of this.
No, the judge called him, quote, "evil, depraved, and dangerous."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
87, Amy's parents sue the mall and get $315,000 from him.
Really?
For lack of security.
Brilliant.
Great.
Yeah.
They should have some goddamn security
Absolutely.
there. Now, he appeals the Amy the conviction. He appeals it, and they hold that there was a bad... basically the instructions on the death penalty weren't good. Mm-hmm. They say that it was reversible error. They charged the jury that mitigating factors must outweigh the aggravating factors in order to them to not impose the death penalty, which isn't true. Right. They just need to have some that they can weigh, not outweigh.
Okay.
So that said, they toss his death sentence, remand him for a new sentencing. September 1988, state says we're going to go for the death penalty again. Fuck this guy. 1990, new sentencing. You, sir, again may fuck off. Life in prison this time.
Without?
Life with.
Okay.
But it's not until 30 years or something.
All
so
right.
He's in prison. January 2011, he wants a transfer to Illinois so he can be closer to his family.
What, to Joliet?
I don't know where the hell he wants to. He wants to, blah, blah, blah. Where does he want to go? I don't know. Somewhere in Illinois. It doesn't say. To be closer to relatives. And they say probably improves his chances of escape. So no, fuck you. And it pissed the family off big time that he was even asking for it. They went hard at the state. Like, you do not fucking give him shit.
Don't get him near us.
No, and Deirdre O'Brien's parents are pretty they got money. So
good.
It's they were pushing. February 2018, way up, right up till now.
Oh, the families of the victims were pushing to keep him there.
Yeah, to keep
I thought
him
you
there.
meant his family
No,
was telling
they
him
don't
keep
care
him
about
out of
him.
Illinois.
They probably threw him out. No, we don't want him in Illinois. He wants his DNA tested. He says...
Oh, that's ballsy as
shit,
He
says,
man.
I want my DNA tested. He's been convicted twice here. He said he will prove that he didn't rape and murder her. The Morris County Prosecutor's Office located 5 microscopic slides. Remember how I mentioned those microscopic slides? What do you think? I mentioned shit for nothing, Jimmy?
Not on
containing sperm cells recovered from the body of Amy Hoffman. The slides were in the possession of the medical examiner's office. Now, the Superior Court judge signed an order calling for them to do it. He's got the right to ask for this. They need the presence of intact sperm cells. The state police unit cannot take any other steps other than examination without a court order. And so he says he requests the DNA in 2013, or there's a law that in 2013 that allows him to request this. A prominent victims' rights advocate who's in touch with the Hoffman family said he's got nothing else to do in prison. One of the many jailhouse lawyers put this idea into his head. October 2018, the state police lab attempts to test one slide, but because not enough materials there to create a profile to be extracted, it could not be compared with his DNA. So he was brought into court. And he has one single remaining slide left that they don't know. So he doesn't want it tested because he doesn't want it to be destroyed, apparently. So he does want to go to the Innocence Project, though. So he asked them to help him. And he wants help finding an independent lab to test the slide, someone better than the medical examiner.
Okay.
If a lab is found that is acceptable, they said his lawyer said he might renew his motion to have the semen sample tested. Innocence Project guy said that they don't comment on individual cases unless they commit to working on them, obviously. The judge said, I don't think there's closure in these circumstances or in any circumstances where there's a violent crime involving the death of a child. Be that as it may, as far as I'm concerned, at this point in time, the case is closed. Keep fucking off. So
I'm so nervous.
He does not get out there.
Is he banking on either of these girls being sexually active and having sex with somebody else? Is that what he's banking on?
That's what I mean. I don't know. I think he's got to just be looking for attention or something because he definitely did this. He did this. So, the other guy said, quote, the prosecutor, I don't see any validity or possibility for Kodatich, but he's taking shots in the dark. He's got nothing else to do in prison.
Okay.
So, quickly here, James O'Brien, that's Deirdre's father. 10 years after her death, her father became a leading crusader for crime victims' rights and helped write and advocate for crime victims' rights amendment to the New Jersey state constitution, which was passed by approval of voters.
Hero stuff.
Yeah. So in memory of his daughter, the Deirdre's parents founded Deirdre's House, formerly Deirdre O'Brien Child Advocacy Center in Morristown, New Jersey, a facility which assists child victims of violence and witnesses to domestic abuse.
Great.
They're still active.
Great.
Looks like a really great thing. It's www.deirdreshouse.org. So it seems like a good thing to. That's
a tough name to say.
Deirdre.
I can't do it.
Deirdre's house. Deirdre, we don't know where Amy is buried. We don't have any information. They kept that private. Deirdre is at the Hilltop Cemetery in Mendham in Morris County, New Jersey. And James is in prison. At this point, he is eligible for parole.
Really?
On January 27th, 2038, when he is 6 months shy of his 90th birthday. He's eligible.
Yeah.
So good fucking luck. Good luck.
He ain't going to make it that long.
No.
90 in
90.
prison?
Nah,
Nobody makes it there.
Nah, it's a bad stuff. So here is, by the way, I won't go over it, but this is all the psychic stuff where they were like, she said really that his name had a hard K in it. Maybe she said it started with K, but she said he was Eastern European, not specifically Polish. It's pretty cool. That's what I mean.
What are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. It was like
she said it's got a K and that he's from Eastern Europe. That's all she said.
Yeah, and he said that I think she said it ended with an ish, not an itch. Also, like
Fuck
stuff
you.
like that. It's like, dude, could you say that?
That's amazing.
She said, quote, she said he was Czech or Polish. And he says that she said more vague, quote, Eastern European descent, maybe Slavic or Russian or Romanian. These are really splitting hairs, man. I mean, that's pretty.
I'm impressed.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if I believe any psychic shit, but I'm certainly impressed.
That's pretty impressive. That is Hanover Township, New Jersey, really Morristown and all that sort of stuff, New Jersey. And that's honestly one of the most disturbing fucking people ever. It's a
bad man.
That's a monster and a predator. You don't have to know him. He just has to find you and hunt you, basically, whether you're at work where you think you're safe, you're in your car driving a mile from your house.
Right.
And he'll come like, this is scary shit.
My son likes to go on bike rides around the neighborhood with my daughter, and then he likes to ditch her and thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'll choke you.
Listen to this episode.
Yeah.
Listen to what happens.
You know what happens? They disappear.
Yeah.
You never get them back.
Absolutely. If you agree, or if you don't agree, either way, tell us about it. Apple Podcast, that purple icon. We need the reviews. They help. Well, we don't need them, but they help a lot. They help drive us up the charts. So why not? Help us out. It's free. What the hell are you going to do? Give us 5 stars. Say something. We don't give a shit what you say. Say how much you hated this guy. That's fine.
He's awful.
Say something about 1970 Chevrolet tire tread.
But don't just say JJ sucks, because then people think you mean us.
Then you think it's us. Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Something Polish. So I love that from Night Shift. Name of the deceased, something Polish? Great movie. So anyway, do all of that. Thank you for doing that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for all of your small town murder needs, all of your crime and sports needs. You can get your tickets to virtual live show, of course. Get them now, January 29th, 2021.
Can't wait.
Real show, just like a theater. We're going to pretend that our studio is a theater.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have the table and the visuals.
Get polluted with us.
Absolutely. The microphones, not the ones hanging in front of us, ones we'd be holding on stage. We're going to pretend like that camera is the theater.
It's you.
It's full of all of you. So we cannot wait. January 29th, 2021. It'll be available for 72 hours afterwards, too. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. Get your tickets right now and listen to Crime and Sports. The last 2 weeks are insane. If Grundy and Luca Brazzi here, if
that doesn't grab you,
then never mind.
I can't do anything for you.
Absolutely. Also, hey, check out P.S. I Hate This Movie because I have to watch goddamn Twilight. Yeah. So listen to that shit as well because I watch Twilight for you people. Come on, help me out here. To all of that, follow us on social media as well. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Find us there. You'll get all the updates, new stuff, and any new merch and funny stuff that comes around. Join all the groups. Those people are all fun. Talk about the shows.
Oh man, it's insane to see those groups grow like they do, and people becoming friends.
Yeah,
over that. It's bananas.
It is. It's wild, man. Thank you so much. So also, if you want to be a Patreon supporter and get all sorts of bonus content and have your name mispronounced, just like everyone's is going to be in a minute here, you can do that very easily at patreon.com/crime and sports. You'll get access to all the bonus items for both shows, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder. This week on Small Town Murder, we are going to be doing the worst town reviews I can find, basically, and that's going to be so much fun.
Can't wait.
Finding awful town reviews and piecing them together. And on Crime and Sports is we're going to do the UWF, which was a defunct wrestling company that was run by a lunatic coke addict maniac.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about his very short run and very, very colorful death, we'll call it. Very unique and colorful death that he had. Herb Abrams in the UWF. That's Crime and Sports. Worst town reviews I can possibly cultivate on Small Town Murder. You get all of that at patreon.com/Crime and Sports, and Jimmy will mispronounce your name. If you just want to be a great person and be a producer and have your name mispronounced, very easy way to do that. Also over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, Jimmy, damn it, I need to hear the names of these people because that was just a lot of crazy stuff. I need to hear good stuff. Hit me with the names of all the good stuff, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Haley Coleman, Rick Giuliani, Danielle Garouge, Jordan Bennett, Peter Chapman, Laura Howard, Jacob Magyar, Drew Bittner, Aaron Sayer, Kyle Juarez, Debbie Shaley, Karen Crank, Laura Aguilar, Teresa Cheatham, Donette Perry, Peter Mazzi, you know what it is, Joshua Brassard, and Rebecca Ruiz.
Hey,
that's what that is. Thank you guys so much, truly. Really? Other producers this week are James Martyr, Peyton Meadows, Carl Kirshner, Michelle Lockhart, Gary Friedman, Zachary Bunea, Tracy Poetz, Allie and Roy and Shane in North Carolina, Rabbi Shmuley Olovich, Dina McCord, Bacon Babes Boutique, I forget it. It's Tanner McCutcheon's boutique. That's what it is. She makes baby clothes.
Oh, cool.
Lisa
not
Tucker?
Bacon?
No, not Bacon. I think it's Bacon. It might be Bacon. It might be the town she I don't know. It's the Babes Boutique is what it is.
Well,
Lisa Tucker, Tara Lathan, Samantha Anderson, William Chisholm, Maria Rasper, Joanne Ahern, Brooke Kale, Janice Hill, Susanna Platt, Patricia Winterbauer, Kaylee, nope, that's Kimberly Radisky. Oh, and it's her she's 8 years sober. Congratulations.
Hey, congrats.
Hang in there, stay on the path.
Hell yeah.
Laura Blakesley, Lauren Benish, Brandon Benio, I think, Graham Wilding, Anita Martinez, happy birthday, Jessica Monroe, Tracy Lambert, Arias, and Darren Mihal. Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
Susan Olgis, Terry Johnston, Jennifer Lamb, Zane Holt, Thomas Smith, Aaron Ishiek. Never going to get it. Nicholas Solpaw. Cameron Smith in Australia, Tim Watson, Justin Garcia, Mary Jo Jenkins, Ali Sabola, Aaron B., Joe Hawk, Nicole Galvani.
Sure.
Erica Raleigh, Kagan Randolph, Chase Cummins, Kimberly Owens Goldstein, Oscar Kochansky, Katura Lynette Crum, Audrey Tarr, Soraya Milano, I think. Probably, you know who it is. Alyssa. Julia Olinek. Eric would know last name. Cassie Hewlin. What is this? Colton Rose. Mike Vandenvond. Ali Avond. Jesus. Ali Rydell. Monica O'Leary. Colette Cierlante. Tiffany Gizar, Charles Harden, Mac with no last name, Tara Bennett, Lendale Lloyd, Robin Harris, James Anthony Hakala, Nicole Van Newland, Liz MMX, Noah Tolbert, Jay Hawkins, Anders Hansen. It's probably Anders, right? I don't know. Workaholics, it was Anders.
Okay, well,
April with no last name. Space Warlock. Stephen Sharp, Jeremy Hinkle Running, Kelly Biggers, Brendan with no last name, Carly Boyd, Lily Binkus, Amber Ray, Devonna Cleary, Anastasia with no last name, Blake Almond, Corey Adair, Tanny, Quady, what? Queedy? Gentry, Mr. or Mrs. Gentry. That's who it is. Sarah Corbecky, John Gully, Jasmine Fuse, Nija Clifton. That's tough. Joseph Samuel, TJ Viger, Jessica Walkowski, Cobra Clutch, Christine Huring, John Miles, Charles Peterson, Carlos Fuentes, Janine M, Andy Gish, Tinkara Kristovich, Crystal Reed, Emmy Whitehouse, Jason Covert, Alila Alcade, nope, Shane from Detroit, Shanna House, Noni Arnold. What did you want to say to me?
I was going to say I was just about to say I don't want to spook you, but you're doing really well. And just as I open my mouth, you fuck.
Alili Al-Qaidi.
Yep, it's like, all right.
Rhonda with no last name. Lily Curie, Onion Fart. What the fuck? Megan Baugh.
Sounds great.
William Valencia, Chloe Scott, Ryan Gaffney, Timothy Smith, Shelby and Brad Schweigel, Harrison Lee, Heidi Hauser, Jack Cornelius, Killian Leaf Cargan, Brad Anderson, Outdoor Mike, Melissa Martin, Kara Joseph, Mary Absher, Gabby Malman.
Why is Mike outdoors?
I don't know. He's outdoors now.
Outdoors now.
Ursula Sabick, Becky Amen. Ty Broyles, Kaylin Hall, Lady Vandercat, Cameron Aaron, Amy Ann Nathan Duke, Seamus Mooney, Jennifer Krimmel, yes, Krimmel, Tom L. Leidner? Shit, I put too many spaces. It could be Tom L. Eidner. It's probably Leidner. Caitlin Ligon, Andrea Connor, Tangina Islam, Amanda with no last name, Jessica with no last name, M. Turner, Olivia. Then how did I do this to your last name? Crusand? Chiasano.
Hey.
There it is.
Look at you.
Sarah.
I don't know where you got that from, Crusand, but you pulled it right out of your ass. Congratulations.
Sarah Firestone, Haley with no last name, Benjamin Ortiz, Tammy Finally, Kevin the Tech Ninja, Tyler Moore, Evelyn Sideropoulos, Joseph Murphy, Elliot Walker, Ashley Zabel, Michelle Stymack, Spoopcast. That's not her last name. Chris Harrison, Mallory Goetz. There she
Goetz.
Morgan Hess, Kassra, Darren Parvo. Yes. Adam with no last name. Emily Field, Ryan Brent, Davinia Way, Melanie Tamarind Hallstrom, Lori Ivy, Colleen Curry, Gino Balderrada, Stephanie King, Charles Brandt, Gareth Hall, Jacob Van Sickle, Tay with no last name, Ryan Crocker, Teresa with no last name, Heidi Hoffman, Chris Willis, Kelly Fordham, Cola Noble, Heather Phillips, Kristen Mudrick, Jamie Daniel, Kyler Molland, Brian Keller, Stephanie Maury, Sarah Worley, Sarah Kale, Zax, nope, that's ZX Saturn, or it's Zach Saturn. It might be his car.
Might be Zach Saturn. That's nice.
Amy Marie, Max Winland, Jen Curry, Jamie Danielle.
Save whatever you're giving us and get rid of that Saturn. But they don't even make those anymore.
They don't make them. They don't make the parts. No.
Yeah, it's just for you.
Anna Otto, Brian Keller, Kyler Molland, I said that, Ashley Clark, Sierra Varley, Samantha Ben, Jessica Lindsay, Sarah Booker, Danielle Rexeidler, Joe Longhorn, Patrick with no last name, Taylor Kirkdorfer, Tara Lathan, Tamsin Andrews, Adriana with no last name, Kalina Lizey, Gary Spur, Shanna Charles, Simon Maber, Aaron Perry, Steph with no last name, John Geyser, April Jennings, Monster FPV. I don't know what that is. Wow. Valerie Woods, Monique Eckert, Zet with no last name, Beth Castro, Don Polson, Goody Goodwin, Connor Sundstrom, Susan McLean, Terry Johnston, D-, Cheryl Prater, Paul Boyle, Liz Cox, Liza
There
Cox,
you go.
that's it. Serena
Perfect.
Henson, Adam Brown, Aboot 0923, Brianna Foster, Elizabeth Cartwright, Sarah Hahn, Jorge Torres, Jeff Kizelstein, Kia Bolden, Gimbal Lou Graham, Shane Benner, Sarah Jane, Carrie Meyer, Ryan Craig, Dorian West, Darren Rhodes, Chrissy Tate, Susan Moran Giello Koenig. I'll never get it right. Ian Woodhams, Christine Eicheltz, Dylan Link, Elizabeth Richard, Haley Hoffman, Caden B, Cattenby, Miranda with no last name, Joni and Max Price, Justin Spruill. What did I do? I don't know.
I've done something wrong.
Spurville?
What have I done?
Leanne Kubiak, Beatrice Roman, Leah Russell, Annalisa Turner, Adam Jones, Josh Robley, Katie Mancuso, Andrew Dobos, Desiree Dufresne, Samantha Jenkins, Courtney Geary, Adrian Wright, Allie Radcliffe, Calvin Gonder, Misha White, Vanessa Lawson, Allie Munn, Lana Hazelwood, Jan Jans,
Sure.
Tara Lane, Kate Rordan, Jesus, Elizabeth Whitby, Richard Welsh, Morgan Metzger, Elizabeth, no last name, Jamie Miller, Jeffrey Hauser, yes, David Jackson, Nicole Powles, I don't know what I did there. Oh, boy. Powers, Ryan Shills, Sarah Grube, Jessica Berry, Autumn Palmer, Jessica Garrison, Cheyenne Meadows, Mike Holbert, Sarah Conway, Rochelle Dobbs, Justin Joshua Meyer, Neil Hollowell, Emma Branaby, Katie Cakes, Allison Ream, Lanny 110, I think, Karen Dane, Crystal Leanne, Teresa with no last name, Sammy Maserly, Angie Jones, Corey with no last name, Karina Gierke, Homestretch, Lindsay Nelson, Molly Stapleton, Jaylyn A's, Ass,
Almost.
Tommy Lee, probably not the one, Ray Bradway, Ashley Veneman, Ed O, Brandon Cigars, Jem with no last name, Emily Booms, Brady Mullins, Adam Rogers, Brendan Brown, Kevin with no last name, Joe Dawson, Carissa Evans, Matt Britt, Deanna, that's Dina Miller, Robin Throckmorton, Keisha Kaya Daly, Amy Long, Courtney Paget Snyder, Lori Matthew, Talberto, Connor with no last name, Colin McNulty, and Jen Holder, and all of our patrons. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much, honestly, for everything you do for us. We could do none of this without you, and we're just blown away by your support. So thank you for everything, and please keep supporting the show, because otherwise we will not be able to eat food.
Right.
So thank you for all that you do.
You do all of it.
You do everything.
It's crazy. People text, message, and say things like we do something amazing.
No.
It's you guys
Thank
do it.
you.
Thank you.
Everything. And what if they wanted to say anything to you? Thank you for anything. How could you do
tell
it?
me on the internet at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys. Truly, it's incredible to see that we have facilitated babies being born.
That's crazy to me.
That's so weird.
There's people that have gotten married and had babies since because of our meeting at our show. It's wild shit.
Where can they tell you about this stuff?
At Jimmy P is funny, or just copy and paste my name. You know how to look people up on the internet, everybody. So that said, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for spending 2020 with us, and also hopefully all of 2021 with us here, because we're not going anywhere. That said, until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.